like
Who wants to pop it off?
I'm not
good at starting, but once it started, I'm good at it.
Madison, we'll let you introduce yourself this time.
that camera, right?
It doesn't matter.
Whichever.
Either one, but yeah. You
Can that one even see me?
No. So that
No.
one's just me. This one's you. So.
Okay, I was not here for the last one because I was sick, and Tristan.
Dog, that ain't a start. You just started talking.
Yeah, okay, well,
Who are you?
I'm not great at. My name is Madison. I missed the first episode. What just things about me?
All right, Ryan, kick it off.
Welcome to the 8-Bit Legacy
Oh,
podcast.
that.
We're back.
Okay.
This time we have Madison with us.
What's up?
He's finally here. Oh, great.
Making eye contact.
That's a great start. So let's go ahead and get started, Madison. You had some big opinions on our opinions. On
Yeah,
the
what did
first
we
episode.
get wrong first episode?
Well, I will say I've really considered spending the money that I got for Christmas on a full Red Dead cosplay outfit and walking in here in that and being, I heard y'all were talking shit about Red Dead Redemption 2.
Man.
I don't really have any problems with what y'all said. It was just that I had to have a different opinion.
Yeah, so like what do you disagree with then? So I know Red Dead 2 would have been a big thing. If we would have brought that up with you here,
We already
would have
talked
gotten
about the
crucified.
2D, 3D Zeldas. I agreed with you. I think the 3Ds are better.
3Ds, yeah.
We had a
okay.
conversation about whether or not.
The comments are eating me up for that.
Yeah, we had a.
The
I
comments
don't. Well,
vastly prefer 2D.
I
apparently.
also think.
I think that's base, dude.
I think we had a conversation off screen, I guess in our normal lives, about whether or not the 2.5Ds should be considered 2D or 3D.
Yeah.
Because I think Tristan wasn't on board with that, and then he looked it up and he's like, "Oh shit!" Like I didn't realize.
I was the one who wanted to fight you on that because you called Link's Awakening the remake and like Spirit Tracks and all that. You called that a 3D game.
First off, Link's Awakening and Echoes of Wisdom are both called 3D games by Nintendo.
Yeah, but I feel like they're 2D Zeldas.
The definite.
Like if we're gonna categorize 2D Zeldas and 3D Zeldas, when somebody thinks of a 2D
they are
Zelda,
more 2D than 3D.
yeah,
I do.
in
But
gameplay wise,
inherently, it can't be.
Visually, you can call it 3D game. But
Yeah.
It's not like.
And also, did you play Phantom Hourglass?
Yeah.
Because Phantom Hourglass, I feel like was 3D models all the time, and even when you were on the levels, it wasn't completely top down. It still had a 3D angle.
I do think everything is technically like 3D models, but like this gameplay wise, I
Yeah.
don't know because like you're on like a 360 axis. So
Yeah,
I guess it's technically a 3D game.
On Spirit Tracks, it was
fundamentally.
different.
But
But Phantom Hourglass, I remember playing through the dungeons, and it was fully 3D. You could
so I
move
guess the
around
question
and-
is third person or top down Zeldas. That's what we should have said, but that just sounds lame. Like 2D and
sounds
3D
weird.
sounds like.
I'm still gonna say third person.
I guess to be considered a true 2D Zelda, you'd have to be freaking A Link to the Past or like Zelda 2.
Here's how I can sum this
Sprite-based.
up.
Yeah.
Here's how I can sum this up. Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, Skyward Sword.
That's a 3-game run.
Those are three
There's no
games.
3-game
those
run
are three
in
games that
2D
I feel
Zelda
like.
games.
And then you got Breath of the Wild, which
Yeah, he didn't even include that. That's a 4-game run. Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, 7-game run.
yeah, I mean,
That's crazy.
There's not a 7-game
those
run in
are
the
all
2D
the 3D
ones.
Zeldas. Like,
Well, I can understand that.
and you
but-
you guys know how I feel about Wind Waker. Ever since I remember the day we went to GameStop to get that game. My mom got it day one, and we put that in the GameCube, and that theme. And I was like, okay, favorite game ever. I mean,
That's
obviously,
awesome.
I was like 4 years old, 5 years old, but I was sunk in. I watched my mom play that game for hours, and I was like, please let me play it. And she's like, no.
She
I'm
handed you
playing
the
it.
unplugged controller.
Yeah.
Dang.
No, I never had that done to me, thank God. But no, I remember I was scared of everything as a kid. The part where you're in the tunnels.
Forsaken Fortress.
The tunnels with the rats. Like later on in the game.
Yeah.
Like she would turn a corner and the rat would pop up and I'd be like, ah,
My goodness.
no.
I don't want to stay on Zelda too much since we just had a whole big conversation.
Okay, we can go to Red Dead.
Well, one thing I want to say first, though, is that with Madison, if there's one thing that we should know is that he does have a bias against 2D games. Like, he just absolutely
I
cannot play
don't
them.
have a bias against them. I just can't get into them.
So he's the yang to our yin here. So I feel like our brand is kind of like retro gaming. Madison's like the modern gamer. So like
Yeah.
I feel like I'm like very retro leaning. Ryan's very in the middle. Madison is very just straight up newer games.
And the thing is, I don't know what shaped that because I've been playing video games just as long as you guys have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I grew up with a Game Boy Advance SP, playing them as a kid. I guess once I hit that,
You just kept up, like.
at some point I hit a stride where I saw how games had evolved and could keep evolving. And I was like, dude, I was the kind of person in high school who was sharing those Unreal Engine 5 remake clips. Like,
man.
I know that's not good now.
Man, did you see Ocarina of Time, dude? Look at
But,
that.
Unreal
like,
Engine
to
5?
some degree, I appreciate those, but I would never play them.
Yeah.
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 Because they're a product of their time. To me, like especially Ocarina, that game.
Oh yeah, didn't you say it was unplayable? Said it was unplay. That's crazy.
I have thought about this a lot. I don't think it's unplayable. I do think sometimes the cutscenes and stuff are really jarring. Like when he turns around, he's like, I know, as Sheik takes Zelda away, I'm just like, ooh, what the fuck? And then I'm like, oh wait, it came out like God knows how long ago. That like, it looks like this for a reason. They couldn't make it look like
I think you meant Impa, by the way.
Impa. Yeah, my bad. Wait, is Sheik not in that one?
Sheik is Zelda in that game. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, I know, but was it?
Sheik wasn't a separate.
So whenever
entity
you're
from
Adult
Zelda.
Link, Sheik is there, but it's actually Zelda.
Oh, okay.
But I don't think
It's
that
Impa
gets
who took
revealed
Zelda
until
away,
the
Yeah,
like,
okay, fair.
kid age.
Impa, the old lady in Breath of the Wild.
So Red Dead 2, we got wrong by your standards.
No, I don't.
What else? I like just from your standard though.
Oh
that
yeah,
we
I
got
completely
wrong.
disagree with you.
Yeah.
I did want to say
Um,
you can that auto aim is built into every Rockstar game. You can turn that off.
Yeah. I figured you could. It was never a problem with GTA 5. Like I played through GTA 5, the auto aim's never like really stuck
Oh,
out
dude,
or
last
bothered
time
me.
I played it,
But
like I mean, you just pull out the gun and it's like.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's how Red Dead was. But like I guess I noticed it more in Red
And
Dead rather than
I don't know
GTA.
if that's. I mean, that's just their thing. That's Rockstar's thing. It's been in since GTA 4.
I think too, it's like the hyper-realism thing kind of makes it to
Yeah.
where stuff is smaller and you like literally just can't.
And I mean, I
physically
know
aim to it
people
that
when
easily.
GTA 5 came out that they turned like on 360 there was an option to turn off auto aim,
Really?
and I know they did it.
Okay, I didn't know if it was just a PC thing.
No, it's on all
Because I remember the first
too.
time I got Call of Duty on PC, I realized like the keyboard and mouse had like no auto aim, but controller does, you know. And
Yeah.
so it was very like kind of
Yeah.
it was weird because you're playing with other PC people, but you can use a controller and have auto aim, and you're kind of almost just have like an advantage. I feel like.
That was
I realized playing Fortnite on PC compared to Fortnite on console, it's like, damn, I suck at this game. So I was like, I'm gonna plug in a controller, see if it helps. It's the controller adjustment. They have an adjustment for a controller to
Yeah.
help keep up with mouse and keyboard players. Like it's in there.
It must
I
be
was like,
pretty heavy.
damn, I just suck at it. I genuinely do suck at video games in general.
You talking about competitive?
Well,
Competitive
that and
games.
I think if a game has a lot of different mechanics, it takes me a while more than it would take a normal person to just adjust to that.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I've just always been a give me this and this and tell me where I'm going.
Yeah.
And I think playing Breath of the Wild for the first time was a little jarring because
They give you nothing.
yeah,
Like,
no,
well, they
they're-
give you everything you need,
you
but
could
don't
just go
explain
straight
it
to
to you.
Ganon and beat
Yeah.
it. Like that blew my mind.
You need objectives. Like
That
you
you
need
could do
like
that. I don't think in the long run it was bad. I think they wanted to do something different. They didn't want to hold your hand anymore. Because Zelda games are so hand-holdy.
Yeah.
A lot of the times, like, do this, lift this stone.
Yeah, and it was progressively getting more hand holding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But just realized Jigglypuff's on the floor.
There you go.
Dang.
You killed Jigglypuff. But
Okay.
what else did you guys talk about that I missed?
Yeah, what else? It was mainly I think we focused on a lot of Nintendo stuff since you weren't here because we knew that like
Yeah,
that
a lot of
wouldn't
Nintendo-
be too much of your forte.
I think y'all talked about Switch 2
Yeah,
and whether or not
Metroid-
it was going to run 4K 60.
Yeah, which I don't really care about, but I just
don't-
wanted to have good games. That's,
I
that's
don't
my
think
main concern.
Nintendo has to worry about that.
Yeah, I don't
With
think they would do
the
either.
audience they've cultivated now. If the Switch 2 comes out and I put Tears of the Kingdom in it and it still gets like 15 frames per second and I'm seeing trees pop in right in front of me, I'm gonna be upset. I'm gonna be really upset.
Yeah.
Because I could play Tears of the Kingdom. I think I got like 30 minutes into it, and I was just running around, and everything was popping in front of me. The frame drops were horrible. I would see a tree just go boop right there, and I was explaining to Max, and he's like, "There's no way it's that bad. There's no way it's that bad." And he just walked in my room looking defeated, and he was like, "Yeah, it's bad."
No,
right.
man.
And
Yeah.
the thing is, I was getting lambasted for that online when I said something about it. I replied under some thread, and I was like, I have a brand new. I got the Switch OLED, the Zelda one. That it was the limited edition that came out with it.
I remember that.
So
yeah.
it should be brand new, like it was brand new. And people were like, "Oh, there's something wrong with your Switch because I'm not having that." And I decided to watch some gameplay. It looks like that on the gameplay on YouTube.
It's
Like-
like that in general.
I don't understand how
I
people.
think it just doesn't bother most people though. Like with me, honestly, it wouldn't bother me. Like I would notice it, but it's not gonna really like bother me. But I get people that it does bother. We want to just hop right into what we've been playing recently. What have you been playing, Madison?
I got up at 5 this morning, and I was like, "Oh, I can't go back to sleep." So I've been playing Modern Warfare 1 Remastered. Like 2000. What year did that come out? 2008.
Like the online or the campaign?
The campaign.
Oh, that's
Really?
crazy. That's sick.
Oh.
That's disgusting.
You don't like the campaigns? for
Call of Duty games, no.
Oh, I love those fucking. Modern Warfare 2, the campaign.
I mean, I think they were like playable, but see, I was also like 11, so like,
Oh, I mean, I like the new ones too.
yeah,
honestly.
no, that's crazy.
I play the.
I didn't know people like. I didn't even know they still
I
came out
never
with
played.
campaigns.
I never played multiplayer growing up.
I haven't played a Call of Duty since Black Ops 3. I didn't know they still came with campaigns.
Black Ops 3 didn't have one.
No,
Yeah.
Black Ops 3
Four,
had a
Black
campaign,
Ops
but
4
4 did not have
Black
one.
Ops 3's campaign was bad. Straight up terrible though.
Mm,
That's the one with the AI, right?
Dude, I thought they all
Yeah.
sucked, bro.
It's
That's
I
crazy.
think there's some. Those new Modern Warfares are really good.
All right, so I mean, I feel like any opinion on Call of Duty is going to be a hot take on one way or another, but
Well, I think people have more issues with. I think generally people don't play the campaigns.
Yeah,
right?
no, I didn't know people
Because
actually
I
did,
was
to be
I was
honest.
into Call of Duty only for the campaigns growing up. I wasn't interested in multiplayer. I like playing the story.
No, that's sick, dude. We would all get like new Call of Duty every single like Christmas.
and everybody be playing dude,
Straight to
we'd
the
all-
multiplayer, dude. We
Yeah,
never
No,
played the campaign.
Not me.
man,
You
that makes me wish for the good old
I was
days,
playing
dude.
the story. Hey, I have Black Ops 6 on the way, man. We'll be playing soon, okay?
Oh, that's right.
Playing the multiplayer.
Black Ops
soon.
6 good? You have it, don't you?
Yeah, so I've been playing it with Nolan, and it's been a lot of fun. And then
You,
Masson
you
picked it
said
up.
Nolan has prestige 3 times?
Yes, already.
How many
the
hours
game
does he
came
have
out.
in that game?
Too many already, but I'm not gonna give him any shade on that because there's people who've already prestiged the max amount of times.
We were on Discord last night, and I saw that Nolan had been playing Power World for 8 hours straight.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw it, but it said 6.5.
Yeah, when I got off last night, he was still on it, and it was like 8 something. And I was like, Brian, this man has been on Power World for over 8 hours. And he's like, no way. And looked at it, and he's like, holy crap.
And I
Like,
think
what?
sometimes he like leaves it on. Like some people just like leave
Yeah.
That's
the
why he
games
has
on.
so many hours on Apex.
Yeah.
'Cause he just,
But I think he
left
was
it
actually
running for,
playing
like-
because he was in the call. Like he was like,
Yeah. No, he and Kate are playing it. How
In the
long
VC.
were his Apex hours? Because he just left it on for days.
There'd be times where it'd be like 18, 19 hours just because it's sitting there on the menu.
That's like, we were in that voice call the other day, and Michael was like, yeah, I'd never turn my computer off. And I was like,
yeah.
what do you mean you
he's
never
always
turn your
online.
computer
Yep.
off? Like, that's crazy. I turn mine off every night.
Yeah.
Like, I even flip
Just
the
about.
switch in the back.
Okay,
That's
that's
a
a
little
little much.
excessive.
I turn it
but-
all the way. Well, there's lights in it, and
Yeah.
I don't want to have to bother to turn the lights off on the software, so I just switch it off and switch it on.
So what else are you playing right now?
Assassin's Creed Syndicate got a 4K 60 FPS update, which I wish more of these games I was obsessed with when they came out would get 60 FPS updates. And they're rolling them out pretty nicely for a lot of them.
Yeah.
Far Cry 5 got a 60 FPS update a year ago, and I've played that with 2 different friends.
You'll notice that that's kind of the pattern with Madison. 4K 60 FPS. That is,
Specs.
that's
Yeah.
got to be where it's got to be.
Well, at least y'all are okay with that, because Brian's like, no, if it's not 120, I don't want to play it. And I'm like,
What?
Brian's like
That's
a fiend
insane.
for high frame rate.
That's
Well, the thing
insane.
is, though, he doesn't care about 4K. He's like 1080p, 120.
Well, see,
Yeah,
I am
dude.
the same way though, because I prefer 2K. I'll leave it at 2K. If I can get anywhere from 100 to 120 frames, it's good with me.
Preferential, but like you wouldn't like if a game was like locked 30 FPS, but it was a good game. Like
Locked 30,
it's like Elden Ring. I mean, Elden Ring's not.
It's locked at
at
60.
Yeah,
which is fine.
yeah.
30's a little
We gotta play
low. Yeah, that's true.
I agree, 30's low.
A little low. Unless it's a Switch game. It's a
The
Switch
only
game.
time I
make an
like
ex-
30
make an
FPS is
exception.
when movies are being made.
That's 24.
24. I will tell you, though, this is a video game podcast, but I saw the new Avatar on a brand new dual laser IMAX screen. whole movie was in 60 FPS, and it was fucking incredible. It was. I've always hated the way that those looked in movies. The Hobbit movies were. I'm shifting movies. I promise I'll come back. The Hobbit
No,
movies
you're
were
good.
filmed in 60, and it just didn't look great. But something about James Cameron behind the camera with 60 FPS, it was so cool. It was great. What have you guys been playing?
So, for me personally,
You're still on Metaphor, right?
I'm still on Metaphor. It's a grind. I'm like 50 hours in. I feel like I'm just hit the halfway point. I think they said a typical playthrough would take like 80 hours. I'm taking a little bit longer just because I want to kind of get everything. And I'm trying to maximize the amount of achievements I get on this first playthrough. So far, I mean, it's just as good to me as it was at the beginning. Like, I'm still loving it.
Game of the Year contender?
Dude, okay, let's get on that, dude. I freaking believe that one could be Game of the Year. I feel like it's gonna be a toss up between that and Final
Wait,
Fantasy.
here, okay, let's see what's nominated
Okay.
for Game of the Year.
All right, first one I got on my list is
You have the list?
yeah, I got
Yeah, he's
Okay,
got one.
yeah. Name
all
it
right,
out to us.
first
Name
one I
it
got
out
on my list.
This
have
is for
one-
the main category, right?
This is the
Yeah,
main
main
category.
category.
Okay, main
Game of the Year.
In no
category.
particular order.
Actually, no, I have a particular order.
You have it from least to best?
I have it from least to best based on the Metacritic score.
Okay.
So
Okay, that's fine. Yeah.
I feel like that's
That
pretty
don't
fair.
really
So
matter.
we'll start at the very bottom, which is Black Myth Wukong. Obviously, when this game came out, there was a lot of public reception about it. A lot of people liked it. There was some pushback just because it was a Chinese developer. I don't think that makes any sense to me to get pushback.
Apparently, there was a lot of
Well, like people were.
horrible sexism and workplace abuse going on there too.
Oh,
which
well.
Oh, it's because of that. Okay,
Yeah.
I was like, were they
Like,
just
there were
mad
people who
because
just
they were
wouldn't play it.
Chinese?
Because of
That's what I thought too. So its Metascore is a generally favorable review at 81, with a user score being 8.3. So this is towards the bottom of the list, but people say on the good end, people say that it has fluid combat mechanics that in a way can resemble a Souls game.
Yeah. Let's just be straight up. It's a Souls game, right? Like it's.
I
haven't
have
played
a
it.
friend.
I haven't played it.
have a friend who's got hours and hours and hours in it. That's what he says.
That's what he says.
It's another
He,
Souls game.
he
All right,
said
so when
that they tried to advertise it where this is not a Souls game. This is a new type of game. And Patrick is like, I'm just rolling. He's like, it is a fucking Souls
Okay,
Okay,
game.
so
so
the
dude-
same health mechanics.
So
too.
so let's just. I feel like we can just go ahead and knock this one out. Do we see Black Myth Wukong, a Souls game, a not that popular Souls game? I'm not saying it's bad, but just not
It's
that
sold a
acclaimed.
ridiculous amount of
Well, yeah,
copies.
okay, maybe not popular, but acclaimed. You know, like I feel like we don't
Yeah.
still hear people like raving about it the same way with Elden Ring.
I
In the
can
same
s-
in the same category that we have the Elden Ring DLC. Do we
my
see it? Do we see? Do we
I
see it
can
beating it?
say I can say no, and I'll tell you why.
You said that it could or couldn't beat it.
No, it's not gonna win.
It's not
and
gonna
it's
win.
not gonna
I
win
agree.
because the voters like us who vote, that's 10%. There's a coalition of developers. There's a coalition of critics. There's a coalition of everything from the video game industry. They basically make the decisions. They come in and pull votes. It's just like the Oscars. You have to do a certain amount in that industry to be qualified. And I don't think it's going to win simply because of the workplace allegations. Because these are all people who've worked in the industry, and I don't think they're going to vote for it.
I feel
So
like
there's like actual controversy around it. I never heard about
Yeah.
it, so I didn't know that.
Well,
didn't
that's
know
all
that
I
they
heard
were-
about it when I was on TikTok.
But
But I mean,
I heard about it for like a few weeks after it came out, and
I
then
don't,
never heard
I don't
anything
know if
about
that
it
would
again.
stop me from. I wish I could say that would be enough to stop me from playing a game, but we still listen to Michael Jackson. So
that's true, but I feel like another thing is that again, because this is a Chinese studio, and I think there's a bias that happens because obviously, let me see, what's the studio called?
I can see what you're saying
Science.
because I feel like Japanese studios have kind of been at the forefront of everything, and now here's this. Oh, we're from.
So who developed the game? Like,
Game
who-
Science.
Game Science. So
What
let's
else
see,
have
what
they
other
done?
games have they?
Is this their first published title?
It says that they've been a thing since 2014.
I mean, I could see them working on a game like this. for
So
this long,
they've
but-
also released in 2016 Art of War Red Tides. I have no idea what this game is. It
Never
looks
heard
like
of
a tactical RTS
Ew.
game. So
Disgusting.
they've only had 2 releases. They don't have a history. I feel like it probably...
But I don't think that would necessarily invalidate them, because like I feel like people love that underdog story. But if I don't know anything about the controversy, but if there is like controversy as far as like a bunch of workplace stuff, then that may shift people's opinions.
The
when
reason.
when you think about like an actual like critical acclamation, like I think that may.
Quantic Dream,
Mm.
that they made like Detroit, Become Human,
Yeah,
and all
yeah,
this.
yeah.
They've had like serious shit going on with workplace, like abuse, harassment, straight
Then
up
again,
stuff.
I feel like Blizzard has that like every year. And
Well, dude, I
Blizzard
remember
still-
where
And
I
then they
was.
released a Diablo.
I was in
Yeah.
crisis communications for my degree when that happened, and we had to find like an issue that was going on, and I did like a 10-minute video essay on that, and I had to, because the lawsuit that was published for that, they published it online, the whole thing, all 100 something pages of it. Dude, some of that shit going on at Blizzard was crazy,
yeah, I heard
insane,
about it.
like stuff. I can joke around with a lot, but some of that shit made me sick.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
absolutely
I
sickening.
heard some bullet points. It was pretty rough. Yeah, it's,
I'm
if you're a
not sure we
woman,
wanna
if you're a
talk about
woman, you
that
don't
on
want to
here.
work at Blizzard. But
Yeah,
okay,
no.
well, I think apart from the any sort of controversy or allegations, I don't foresee.
I don't think it has a
I
chance
don't-
either way.
I don't think it's going to beat out solely Elden Ring alone, like the Elden Ring DLC. I feel like the Elden Ring DLC is, which we'll get to that in a second.
Yeah.
But I feel like if you take the general consensus of the Elden Ring DLC and Black Myth Wukong, do you see it beating it out?
No.
I don't either. So next.
All right, so next, it's a crazy jump, dude.
Balatro. is
Balatro.
next.
So it has a Metacritic score of 90. We're up 9 points already. The user score isn't changed by much. It's 0.1 less at an 8.2. This one is considered a roguelike card game.
Oh, it's an indie game too.
It's an indie game, but it's considered roguelike in that there's runs in the game. And I'm going to be fair and say Black Myth Wukong, I have not played it. I've seen gameplay. I've seen what people have seen or said about it. Same thing for Balatro. I didn't even know that this was a game.
Dude, I didn't know it existed until
I
2
didn't
weeks
until
ago.
we
I'm
started
gonna be
researching
honest.
for this. Yeah, and I was like,
I've talked to people who've played it, and they say it's solitaire meets poker almost.
okay.
And again, that's not a game I'd be adverse to try because like it's a card game. It's not. But at
Yeah.
the same time, the Game Awards kind of have a history of having their AAA games for Game of the Year, and they're like, oh shit, we need to find an indie one.
Yeah,
to
shoveling
put
in an
there.
indie one. Yeah.
Yeah, and if there was an indie one that was going to go in there, I can see why. I'll tell you what, Ryan, look up the indie games because they have a thing that
They have a whole section
best
for it.
indie game.
Yeah, okay, let's get to that next though. Let's
Okay, yeah.
stay to the game of the year though. But Balatro, yeah, I don't have too much of an opinion on it. I haven't played it, so I'd be surprised if they let, just how kind of like the industry is, if they let a indie card game beat out like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Yeah.
I mean-
Especially too whenever, like you said, there's a lot of like I feel like industry coalition that kind of makes these decisions. So when you have a studio that probably like Square Enix that probably spent like millions of dollars making Rebirth, I don't think they're gonna.
I think
It'd
one
take too
person made
heavy.
that game too.
And we can
Balatro.
go ahead and jump on Rebirth. That's going to be the next,
it next?
one. Yeah.
Okay.
So that one has a meta score of 92 and then a user score of 9.0. So we're kind of getting up into the higher.
That game took me
9.
100 hours
Banger.
to beat. It is very, very good. I don't think it's quite as good as the first.
Really,
I think
I've heard people say that they like Rebirth better.
the story
I
is
haven't played
definitely
Rebirth.
better.
I've played Remake though.
You're
I
still
th-
working on Rebirth.
I think
right?
the problem.
Yeah, I'm at the very end of Remake.
The problem with Rebirth that I had, that I've only talked to very few people who felt the same way, is it relies so heavily on those typical JRPGs. Go here. Oh, you need this thing to make this work. Oh, crap. We need 2 other things to make that one thing work. By the time I hit 85 hours, I was just praying that the game
Yeah,
was gonna
begging
end.
for it to end. Yeah,
I wasn't enjoying it.
but I feel like that was kind of
anymore.
like a little bit of the same thing in like the remake, especially with the side quests. Like the side quests in
Yeah.
Final Fantasy VII Remake, the first one, feel completely pointless to me.
Oh, yeah,
like they
and-
add nothing.
and-
They're not substantive. I can't say that word.
substantial.
Yeah, they're not substantial. I don't feel like they add to like any sort of like story, character development. They're really just filler. They're straight up like blatant filler.
In Rebirth,
So you're saying like the main,
Yes, the
story,
main story.
is a lot of that? Because
yeah,
the main story in Remake is kind of like I don't want to say bloat because it's not bad,
Yeah.
but it's like they do bloat stuff out, but
if you think
not necessarily
if you think
sometimes
that
in a
is
bad way.
bloat, you're gonna run into real
Yeah,
bloat for Rebirth.
that's my biggest thing with Remake because I love Remake, but I am just kind of like, okay, this is leaning on like a little bit too bloaty.
That there were several parts of that game where I was just like, why? Why are we doing this right now?
And I know it must be bad if that's coming from you, because like,
Yeah, because I'll spend 300 hours to beat a game like
Yeah.
that if I have to.
Because once you get started, you want to see it
Yeah,
through.
it took me 120 hours to platinum Persona 5 Royal, and by the time I finished it, I thought I'd maybe spent 50.
yeah.
I was just so engrossed in it.
So would you
Like-
say for Rebirth,
I think Rebirth has
do you think it's the best thing you've played this year? This came out this year.
I wasn't prepared for that question because I don't know all the games I've played.
Yeah,
came out.
that's fine. That's fine. But
It's up
it's
there.
up there. It's up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because what else is?
Are we talking about just Game of the
I
Year
guess
nominees
in
or just
future,
in general?
I
would you
think
would you
we can
replay
talk
it,
about
like-
it after we finish the. Yeah.
Yeah. you would?
I mean,
Yeah.
it'll take me years to
Yeah.
want to replay.
I'm just
it.
waiting for it to come on
but-
PC. Like I'm down to play it. I just need it to come on PC. I just
Yeah.
don't know when that'll be. I also want to play 16. I just realized 16 was on is on
Yeah,
PC.
you didn't believe me.
Yeah,
I was like, it's on PC.
yeah, I was
dude.
in the call. I'm like, dude, I cannot wait for Rebirth and 16 to come on PC. And Madison was like, it's on PC right now. I'm like, no, it's not, because I didn't see anything about that. I saw nobody talk
It's a
about
very
that.
quiet release.
Yeah, it was like $30 too during the Steam sale. So I definitely want to play 16.
P3R was $18 for a new copy at GameStop. For Black
Really?
Friday.
That's
that was a
pretty
game
cheap.
that just came out $40 at launch.
Yeah, well, I
No,
thought it was more. I
more
thought,
than
yeah, it was,
40.
it
Was
was
it
full
40? It was
price.
more than
It was
40?
full,
Dude,
it's full price.
I thought it was
I
$69.
thought, yeah, I thought it was
Okay,
70
well, I'm
bucks.
gonna
It's
say if
70
it
bucks.
was 69, GameStop's going ham.
Yeah,
on
no,
their
it was
stuff
it's
now.
70, and then they had it on sale for like $40.
I'm sorry, I keep
I've been
sidetracking
in
us, dude.
MSRP is $69.99.
That's wild that it was 18 because I went in there and I was like, oh, I'm gonna get this. It was sold out in their entire system. Like he looked it up. He's like, oh, I can ship it.
Well,
to
that
you.
yeah, that's
Nope,
probably
it's
why,
gone.
because it was $18.
Like that was their number one deal.
Yeah.
So we'll just kind of keep this conversation going then.
I think Final Fantasy to me has the third best chance of winning.
The third best chance.
The third best.
All right,
We'll
so,
get into it.
So next one we have Astrobot. I feel like this is going to be one of your top three.
If there's one to win, I'd want it to be Astrobot from
Okay.
just the stuff I've seen.
So
And
the-
watch people play.
The Metascore on it is 94. It also has the Metacritic Must Play Award. And then for the user score, it's a 9.2.
Dude, I want Astrobot to win solely because I feel like it's the first in like, I don't even know, like at least a decade, if not two, like mainstream like a AAA 3D platformer.
Yep.
That's a
have,
dead genre.
I think obviously I would have played it regardless because I don't know if they can see this. I'm wearing PlayStation socks, so I'm a simp.
Bro.
When I started hearing people compare it to Super Mario Galaxy, I was like, well, dang, it must be pretty good if people are comparing it to that because that's like
Banger.
top 5 games for some people on there.
Yeah.
I can't think of the last 3D platform that came out like you were talking about. That's a mainline
Other
title.
than Mario.
Other
yeah.
than Mario. Other
Yeah.
than like,
Well,
Switch titles.
It Takes Two. I don't know if I'd consider it I think I would.
A mainline
what-
title?
No, that's not a mainline. It's an indie, but
yeah.
it sold. What were the numbers on it last night?
Even if it's an indie that does big numbers, I'm
It
like,
sold 20 million copies.
so
since
yeah,
launch.
that's a lot.
It made
yeah.
$800 million, and that's they got published by EA, which I think helped them.
That helped a
tremendously.
lot, too.
It
Well,
also
yeah,
won
then-
Game of the Year
Well,
in
then, yeah, yeah,
2021, and I have never played it.
What was it?
It Takes Two. It's the studio Hazelight that made A Way Out. It's like 2-player games. You have to have someone else to play it, and you have to do stuff together. So I might be trying to flip a switch and jump at the same time as the other person.
Oh yeah, I think I know what you're
And
talking
dude,
about. Yeah.
I've never played that game, and I'm having so much fun with it. Like it's so creative with some of the stuff you're having to do, and the story's good. So I
Yeah,
like it
but
a
that's the
lot.
thing. You can like count on your hands how many 3D platformers
Yeah.
like that have been successful, like really successful that have came out. I mean,
It's-
there's some under indie ones that aren't like super big, but
Yeah.
as far as like because I mean, Astrobot sold insanely well, didn't it?
Yeah, so
that's
in the
a
first 4
ridiculous-
weeks, it had 1.5 million sales already.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So 1
for a
month in.
3D
It's
platformer.
nothing compared to Spark and Zero, dude.
I guess well, Ratchet and Clank I guess would be a 3D platformer.
Oh,
That
I
came out a
love
few years
Rift
ago.
That's true. I forgot
Yeah.
about that series.
It came out like last year, I think.
Rift Apart.
Yeah, I
Came
mean,
out-
apart
it-
from
that was launched. With
Oh,
PS5.
yeah, that
It
was launched.
20
Yeah,
It just
you're right, you're right,
recently
you're right.
came to PC. That's what it was.
Oh, okay, that's what
Yeah.
I'm thinking about.
That-
yeah.
So
that
it
game is
can't even
great.
consider a new title, like newer.
I'll
yeah,
platinum that
yeah.
game.
It's still something that we don't see. Like, I mean, when you go back to the '90s, it was like every release was a
Yeah.
3D
It was a
platformer.
platformer, yeah.
Yeah, it's something you don't really see anymore. So, like, I kind of like that's probably a bad thing to base it on, but I'd want to see Astrobot win solely because of that. Because I feel like they're doing something not new, but like they're bringing something back that
What's next on?
isn't really
So
there.
Next, I can finally have an opinion on this. Well, okay,
Metaphor.
before we get to Metaphor, Astrobot's in the top 3 then? Is that what you would say?
Yes.
Yeah, I would say so.
All right, so here we go. This is the second to last Game of the Year nominee. We have Metaphor ReFantazio with a Metascore of 94. It also has a Metacritic Must Play award, and then the user score is 8.8. So, it's kind of crazy to me that the user score is 8.8, because, dude, again, I'm biased, dude. I want this game to win so bad. I love Atlas games. The lore behind SMT, the lore behind the Persona series, and the fact that we have a new, this would be considered a new IP, right?
Yeah, it is.
So, not that I want a sequel on this. I think this is good as a standalone. Dude, like I said, I put 50 hours in this game. I think I just now hit the halfway point, and it's still going as strong as it was when I started.
I can't wait for you to play Persona 5.
So, I feel like the Persona games in particular, and even this one, and maybe even SMT. I have not played SMT 5 Vengeance.
Me neither.
But I do know that usually there's a social commentary. So with I know with P5, I have not played P5 yet, but I know P5 was focused on the
Social links.
I won't say social links. The people that society thinks are bad, them rebelling and actually being the good guys.
Each one has an overall like
theme.
Yeah.
With P4 Golden, and that's what I absolutely love, dude. I can't wait till we get a remake on that one. With P4, I think what I get from it, I know it has its own specific theme it focuses on. What I get from it is it's a more so focused on the social links more than any of the other Persona games, in my opinion.
You saying P4 or P5 is?
P4.
Okay.
Because with that, I feel like it's a very close-knit group. The friendships feel real. It feels like if you were actually doing something with your friends, that's how natural.
Well, let me stop you right there. In P4 Golden, can you date a hot goth mommy doctor?
Oh my gosh. No, Madison, you can't.
Audience, you decide.
I hate that. I hate that you had to mention that. And then, so Metaphor's themes behind that, it talks about equality. You have a bunch of different races in the game. Some races are considered preferable over other races. And the race that you were in the game, in Elda, I guess they must be very rare because there's a lot of hate and discrimination against them. And so it's just basically about becoming king to kind of get rid of these
to end racism.
Yeah.
I'm going to end racism.
Dude, I had no idea what the plot is in Metaphor until you just explained that to me now. That's crazy.
So while it's super simple, it sounds super simple, the way that they approach it, I think is very, very interesting. And it shows different approaches that people take to dealing with these social issues in the world. So, for instance, you have this one character named Katharina. I guess she's a bunny girl. That race they're called the Paripus.
Did you just say bunny girl?
Yeah, they're all bunny. They're all like rabbit people. And she's a candidate to become king or queen, I guess. And her whole thing is about basically Robin Hood. She's going to take from the rich, give to the poor. But then it goes into the extremism.
Communism.
It goes into the extremism of like, okay, well, somebody's always going to be on top. Somebody's always going to have more than somebody else. Yeah. So it kind of creates a vicious cycle. Meanwhile, you have another person who just focuses on looks. Another candidate that just focuses on looks. So you have a bunch of social commentary on just all the ways these people try to solve equality, or even what's the other word that
I guess
equity?
They're different like takes on it, you know.
Yeah, a bunch of different takes, and it shows how you can take any take in the wrong way if you go too far, if you're too extreme with it.
Yeah.
So I love the game. I love the combat. It uses SMT5's I forgot what the system's called. Like, it uses their combat system.
That's what I was just about to ask.
It's still the turn-based, right?
It's still turn-based.
How much is it different from Persona, though? Like,
yeah, that's what I was about to ask. I've heard that it's kind of like a combination of P5's like story drivenness and then SMT5's
combat. Yeah.
Combat, yeah.
I have to look up what the actual system's called, but And I feel like P5 and P4, they had a very similar combat system where if you hit an enemy with a weakness, you have an extra turn. It's pretty similar, but it goes into like a half turn. So in that half turn, you have to either attack or you can skip the turn. But there are times where if you make the wrong choice, you kind of waste that half turn that you use. So it's fun in that sense. And I think it takes from P5s where you can attack and stun in the overworld.
Yeah.
That's the thing, right?
In the overworld?
Yeah.
Like you just attack people on the street?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, okay. So no, it totally revamps that then. I thought it had at least the stun mechanic.
There's no combat.
I think he's
when
meaning like stunning like the enemies before you like start the battle with them is what he's
You
talking
can't-
about
you
in the
can't-
overworld.
Oh yeah, no, you can sneak up on enemies.
Oh, but that's it?
You can sneak up on them, and you take their mask off to reveal their persona, and then a lot of times, yeah, if you do that, you can get a turn.
Okay, so no, it's way different then.
He's saying like you can literally stun them to avoid battling them entirely.
You attack over in the overworld, and you can go ahead and start the turn-based combat if you're within like 3 levels.
You have to be a high enough level to do that, to kill them instantly.
You can do that P5?
Yeah.
Oh,
you
okay.
just run and press it and it kills them.
Okay, so no, yeah, it is the
okay.
same way.
But
than
you have to
Metaphor.
be a pretty decent level to do that.
So-
Like at all.
Well, so like question about metaphors. Do you think that it's too derivative of which I know you haven't played P5 or SMT5, have you? But you like know enough about them to say, and you've played the other Persona games. Do you think is it unique in its own regard, or
Yes.
do you think it's very derivative?
I think it's very unique, dude.
Yeah.
Just the whole setting. I'm glad we're finally not playing minors.
Yeah, that's
The
that's
old,
my
playing
one
as
issue
minors,
with
okay.
that's my one issue with P5.
I thought that was going to say your one issue with Metaphor.
No, my one issue with Metaphor is that they could have given us some social links and romance, but they didn't.
Well, no, there is social links. There's just no romance. So, long story short, I really want Metaphor to win. I think it really has a good chance.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I feel like it should have a better chance than Rebirth, solely because Rebirth is such a rehash, which it makes sense that it is,
Yeah.
of remake, but I feel like it doesn't necessarily improve, like solidified, like improve on certain things. You know, it's very debatable. Some people may like it more, some people like it less. But, you know, some sequels you can just straight up be like, this is a better game overall. Like, it's pretty unanimous. I feel like it doesn't really have that. So it just almost feels kind of like an extension of what we already got with kind of some maybe slightly better points and then also some slightly weaker points. Is it open world?
Rebirth?
Yeah, at all?
It's way
At
more
any
open
point?
world than the first one.
It is? Okay.
Because you can go back to areas that you've been to do all the side stuff.
Okay, yeah.
I think Metaphor is probably a better game, but I saw a much larger reaction from the industry as a whole with Rebirth than I
Yeah,
did with Metaphor.
I agree.
And I think people need to realize just because a game wins Game of the Year doesn't mean it was better than every
Yeah, of course. We can have our separate two different opinions. What we think is Game of the Year and what we think would win Game of the Year.
Personally, I think Metaphor would be under Rebirth with its chances.
Yeah,
I think Rebirth has
think
a better
for
chance.
what they would choose, yeah,
Absolutely.
I agree. I think I could see them choosing Rebirth over Metaphor, but honestly, you never know.
I think it would be close.
I think
never
that's
know.
fair, but I'm going to keep my bias.
I mean, it's a good
I can
bias
see
to
Metaphor
have.
winning though. I can see
Yeah,
them giving
no,
Metaphor the award too.
It's a
so
possibility.
I can definitely see it.
What was next? The DLC?
So, next and top of the list as far as scores go.
This makes me so mad.
Okay, when I say top of the list, I'm talking about Metacritic score. So, the Metacritic score is a 94.
Wait a second.
Hold on.
Go
Wait.
back to Astrobot. 'Cause
What
I
is
think
it?
Astrobot had a 94 and a high. Yeah, that's the highest rated game of this year.
Okay.
Is Astrobot.
Well, they may all be
Well,
tied.
all of them are 94.
Well, it's combining. Like, you have to combine both. So Metaphor has a 94 and an 8.1. And
You're
then
saying it has the
Astrobot-
best like
has-
main and user
Astrobot has
score.
a
Okay,
9
so
point-
Astrobot
yeah.
would be on top then.
They're all basically around the same era. So
Yeah.
Elden Ring DLC is what?
Yeah, so
Okay.
8.1.
so 8.1 user score, which is pretty low.
Can I talk about this just real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Why it bugs me? I think doing this is really setting a bad precedent.
I agree.
And I think there's also a real double standard. I don't know if any of y'all played Cyberpunk. That it was a horrible launch.
Yes, I
and,
do remember that.
I only played it at launch.
I played it a little bit after launch when
that's-
they'd
you had
made a
the
lot of
worst
fixes. And I platinumed it at that point. 100% I did everything. Took me like 80 hours. And then Phantom Liberty came out. And I was just like, oh, it's just a DLC. No. It's a completely different game than the entire first game was that was already fixed. They redid the skill points. They redid the way you level up. They added stuff to the story. They added 5 new endings. The entire DLC story integrates completely with the main story too. So it adds a new area of the game. It changed it's version 2.0. It's literally 2.0. And my thing is, I rarely see a game make it far enough to hit version 2.0. It's always 1.768, 1.88 something. Usually stops at 1.9. If 2.0 happens, it's revamped. And if we can't consider a game like that for Game of the Year or awards like that, I think it was up for an award, but I don't.
So
think
you're
it
saying
was,
why is Elden Ring DLC getting that?
Well, I can
praise,
tell you
but
why. It's because it's
Phantom
Elden
Liberty
Ring.
isn't. Well, okay, I feel like but I feel like Cyberpunk kind of got like soiled
absolutely.
a little bit solely for the launch.
It got nominated for a lot though. Phantom Liberty got nominated for a lot last year.
Was it nominated for Game of the
No,
Year?
but it
overall?
was nominated
Okay.
for awards, which also that was when people realized, oh, I guess that qualifies. And
But
they
I guess
specified
separating
the rules.
it from Phantom Liberty though, do you think that the Elden Ring DLC deserves to be nominated as Game of the Year,
No.
given that it is like 50 hours worth of gameplay?
So let me say,
Go ahead.
as somebody who has actually played the DLC, I enjoyed it a lot. I put about like 40, 50 hours into it. Very entertaining, very fun. Definitely more Elden Ring. It gives you the same experience that we had with Elden Ring.
I don't think it changes enough.
It doesn't give anything more to that in my
But
opinion.
at the same time, so does Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and that's in here. So, I mean, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, you can look at gameplay. Like, if you've never too much played either of them to, like, recognize, like, areas or maybe a character that you know is in Rebirth, they look the same. I mean, it's pretty much the exact same game. It's borderline DLC.
I think the
like,
problem. Well, yeah, but it's also 100 hours compared to 40, 50.
Which I mean,
that's probably
still a
doing
good
everything,
amount,
though. Like, it's probably,
I didn't
like,
platinum it, and it took me
Really?
over 90 to beat. Yeah, I did some side
But
stuff.
the thing is,
Still, though, I mean, like, Metaphor is going to be like 100. I doubt Astrobot
I
is.
think-
Astrobot's probably like 10, right? Like 15.
gosh.
Yeah,
So, I
probably
mean, as long as it's like a lengthy enough, like, time.
I think that because it was made as a DLC and because it was advertised as a DLC, that alone shouldn't. Because it's not its own release. Because now I think if a studio releases a DLC for a game and it's long enough, then Game of the Year, even though we were just nominated last year.
And that's what you're talking about setting a bad precedent.
Yeah,
I get that.
I can see it
it doesn't
becoming an
bother me as
issue,
much,
but
but
I don't think with Elden Ring DLC it is necessarily an issue.
I don't think it's an issue unless it wins.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And I think it's
if
gonna
it
win.
wins, I think that's crazy.
I
if it
think
wins.
Elden Ring's #1 contender for sure.
I feel like it has a high running, but
The thing that bothers me more so is that Elden Ring already won Game of the Year in 2022. So it's like it's more of the same.
It would win.
But like, let me ask you this: let's say that they because I mean there's been sequels like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth that literally just inherit the same engine as its predecessor. So let's say everything about the Elden Ring DLC released as a standalone title called Elden Ring, whatever the title is for the
then
DLC.
I don't think it'd be as
forget
bad. I think it
So
really is
keep
simply
everything
about
exactly
release.
the same, just listed as its own game, and you would have a different opinion on it.
I think it's kind of like Spider-Man got nominated for Game of the Year, and if Spider-Man Miles Morales had gotten nominated for Game of the Year, I wouldn't have had an issue because it would have been a standalone title. I think simply because they knew from the start this was DLC, and it's DLC. It's not its own release. And I think that alone, not because of Elden Ring, I think because now any DLC, if it's large enough, is going to be eligible. And I just think that's a bad idea.
I kind of agree.
Like,
but
imagine Far Cry 7 comes out and it knocks it out of the park. It's the first Far Cry to do ridiculously well. And they release a DLC a couple years later that's also amazing and top of the line. I don't care how good it is. I don't think it should be.
But I mean, if everybody likes it more than the actual standalone games that came out, and it's content-wise long enough, I don't know. I agree with you. I just don't know why I agree with you. But I do agree with you.
It only sets a horrible precedent if it wins, because if it wins, every other person is gonna know in game development. Oh, well, we just have to
I mean, does it
Make the
add
DLC
any?
enough.
Is there any like? Because I haven't played it. Is there anything like?
New mechanics.
Yeah. Does it add any new mechanics,
So honestly,
or is it literally just more Elden Ring?
there's like a couple different weapon types, which I loved the idea initially when this DLC was announced and they started talking about the details of it. The sucky thing is, like with the Smith script weapons, there's only like one of each weapon. It's like, what's even the point of calling it a new weapon type if it's just a single weapon? That's the one thing that bothered me.
I saw people complaining about the sap you have to collect or something.
Well,
too.
I don't think that's an issue because I think that helps with balancing. What he's talking about is that there's was it sap?
It was something like
There
that.
there were two items that would increase your spirit ash power and then your actual combat power and health, just to help balance it. So no matter what time you enter into the DLC, it would still feel like playing a fresh. It almost did feel like playing a fresh game.
Yeah. DLC is always a weird thing for me, like how it integrates within a game, whether it's like supposed to be at the very end, whether you can start on any time. Like, Skyrim DLC, when you start playing it, you start getting those quests like at the beginning of the game.
Once you hit like
But
level,
I mean,
like,
Skyrim
I-
scales though, so that really doesn't matter.
I think DLC is absolutely, for the most part, I think the Skyrim DLCs were probably done at launch.
Yeah,
with
yeah. So
development.
that let me
And
ask
they
you
waited to release them because they could make more money.
this. Yeah. So let me ask you this though: if the Elden Ring DLC is like the first, and I'm not saying it is or isn't, I'm just saying an if, like a hypothetical. Let's say that Elden Ring DLC is like the first, because I've honestly never really played a DLC that I loved. To be honest, I can't think of
Dawnguard?
one. I don't think any of the Skyrim DLC is that great. to be honest.
Serana?
I don't
Oh
think any
my
of the Skyrim
gosh.
DLC is that great.
because you're a simp, man.
No,
But,
it's
like,
not.
okay,
Okay,
compare
y'all
it-
gonna get some flack with Nolan for saying that now.
Compare it to the main game though. It doesn't like it's literally a watered down like addition to the main game
I love
without
Dragonborn
the
too,
focus
though.
of the main game.
Not liking Hearthfire, I get, because it was just build house.
I mean, it's
have
just
kids.
more Skyrim, but it's just it feels watered down to me. But like,
God
if
damn.
Elden Ring is the first one to set that precedent of like what DLC really can be to
Yeah.
like bring more life into a game, then maybe that's a good precedent to set because it tells people, hey, like quit half-assing DLC. Quit just like holding back like 2 hours of like extra content and then releasing it a few months later. Actually build out something new. Because Elden Ring could have done that too, let's be honest.
I
Elden
think
Ring,
maybe finish your game before it's released.
But I mean, I
and you
think
won't
Elden
have
Ring
to-
was a finished
Elden
product.
Ring was working on
Yeah,
the
that's what I'm
DLC
saying.
after the fact.
Elden
And I
Ring-
also think that's what helps it here is that I think they knew from the get-go they were going to do DLC, but it took a long time.
So it did take a long time, but I think it's because of how lengthy it was.
Yeah.
The other issue that people had with it was the fact that it was $40.
It also added incest.
But it's
to the
50
story.
hours. Like, I don't get
No,
people's
no,
like
no.
issue with that though.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I think if the content is good, I didn't mind paying it.
I will
No,
say
I'm the same way.
all my friends that loved Elden Ring didn't finish the DLC. You have you finished it?
Dude,
I
I
got
remember
to the very end.
there was a
but
big
that fight is
issue.
just-
Yeah, I
There
don't
was
know
a big
anybody that's
issue of
finished it.
people who played it religiously and said it was too hard. Like it was actually
Yeah.
difficult.
I've heard a lot of people that I know that like 100%ed
Yeah.
mainline Elden Ring, like not
And-
finishing the DLC either because they just kind of got like off
and I
of
think
it or
that
difficulty.
it's not sap. That changed the game too. Like you had to get that stuff to be able to beat that DLC,
Not
right?
necessarily. The people who really knew how to play Souls games, you didn't have to have it. It was just like quality
Yeah.
of life.
I don't know. I don't
Um,
think it's too much of a problem that it got nominated just because it is. If it was like if it was bad, like just we could straight up say like this is just watered down Elden
Yeah.
Ring, then I would agree. But
I stand by my goth vampire
I don't think it should
mommy,
win.
Serana Valkahar.
I don't think it should win.
I think it's gonna win.
I think
I
it has
don't
a good chance of winning.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll go back down the line this way. We'll start with you, Madison. 1, 2, and 3
1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
I think Elden Ring.
as one.
What you think is gonna win?
Yeah, I think
Okay.
Elden Ring has the best chance.
Okay.
So say what you think will win, and then say your top three as far as what
Okay,
you
I
would
think
want
Elden Ring's gonna win. My top 3.
that you want.
I can say
to
what I
win.
want to win is Astrobot.
Yeah.
I think in order of chances, I think it's number 1 Elden Ring, number 2 Astrobot, number 3 Rebirth.
Dang.
That's
no freaking-
chances.
Yeah.
So it, as
I
far
think
as
in
which,
order of having the best chance, there's Elden Ring, Astrobot, Rebirth, and I think Metaphor's right under Rebirth for me.
yeah.
So
chances.
for me, what I want to win is Metaphor.
Mm-hmm.
What I think has the best chance of winning Metaphor. Then for 2,
You gotta be realistic here, man.
no, that is realistic. 2,
I think Metaphor has a good chance.
I
of
think it
winning.
has a good chance, but I don't think it has a better chance than
Did Persona
Rebirth.
5
no,
win?
no.
What won that year?
Which year? What year
Persona
was that?
5,
What year was that?
2016.
2016
That game is
was
that old. Holy crap.
Overwatch 2.
No,
Overwatch,
Overwatch 2 did not come out in 2016.
wait,
Overwatch won
Sorry,
Game
sorry.
of the Year.
Oh, okay.
The Game of the Year is a fraud.
Yeah.
Overwatch won that.
I feel like Persona should have definitely taken that. I don't know. I mean, I'm not mad that Overwatch won that.
Anyways,
But
2, I'll give to Astrobot, and then 3, I'll say Rebirth.
okay. I think I want.
Just
I'm
be
gonna
honest
have to, I'm
with
gonna have to
yourself,
edit out
Tristan.
the silence.
Just be
Well,
honest
see,
with
I haven't
yourself.
played like most of these, so it's hard
Well,
for
I mean,
me
just
to have
look at
an
it from
opinion.
the
But,
industry's looking at these.
What I think's gonna win is going to be, I think Elden Ring DLC has the highest chance.
Really?
I think Rebirth has the second highest. And I think so. Elden Ring DLC, Rebirth, Metaphor. I think is the order that
Yeah.
I think is gonna win. I don't foresee them giving it to Astrobot. I'd be kind of shocked if they did.
I hope they do.
But I'll go with. I'm gonna go with Metaphor. I think I want Metaphor to win. Actually, now that I
Sorry,
think
it's
about it,
not
I feel
because
like
I
it's
hate
the
it or
most. I
anything.
feel like it's the most complete experience. Either that or Astrobot.
I think
want
other than
either
Astrobot,
Metaphor.
it's the most unique game.
Yeah,
on here.
I think Astrobot or Metaphor are the two. They're kind of tied for me that I would want to see win. But do I foresee either of them winning over Rebirth or the Elden Ring DLC? Not really. But I hope they do.
I wish we could all be together and record a live episode with the Game Awards. It'd be so fun.
When is it?
The
On the
12th, Saturday.
I'll
He
be,
won't be
I'll be
here.
in Savannah.
Okay.
You can do it.
Yeah, I'll love it. I got it.
So, we've talked about Game of the Year. We've
I'll say
said our
what's
opinions
next.
on it.
Oh, please let me talk about the PS5 Pro.
That's what exactly. That's
PS5
Please.
Pro?
Okay.
Let me just set the groundwork here.
Okay.
So I'm not a modern console gamer. Solely retro games and PC. Anything modern I play is on PC. You're the same way. Okay. You're the console gamer here.
Before I
Which
start,
I own the PS5, but I just never play it. So.
Before I start absolutely ripping apart this abomination of a console, I'm looking at the camera
Try to
and
do it
say
without
this.
cussing.
I'm not gonna curse. I
That's gonna
promise.
be your biggest challenge. I'm
I'll-
gonna challenge you. Say 0 cuss words while
Okay.
explaining the PS5 Pro.
I'll start.
Challenge impossible.
Okay, I'm going to start over. Before I start absolutely ripping apart this abomination of a console, I will say, if I had a bunch of money, I'd have it.
Yeah, he's like, so I hate it, but
Yes.
Sony, I will buy it.
So, a lot of the Xbox Series X, PS5, all of them, they advertise 4K 60. Truly, on Series X and PS5, it's called checkerboard resolution, which means it's upscaled to 4K. Because even with these brand new consoles, there's no way for them to handle
Natively
native
do
4K
yeah.
and 60. PS5 Pro can do it. That's what it's built on. It's not checkerboard. It is real 4K. It's real 60. The problem is...
Well, hold on. Quick question though. So, were launch title PS5 games or PS4 games that run on PS5? Did any of them do native 4K 60?
I don't think so.
Okay, so
But-
from the rip,
Yeah.
it did. Because isn't there like a performance mode and then
I always use performance.
fidelity mode?
Yes.
I don't know.
Fidelity
what it's
is still
called. Is this,
checkerboarded.
okay?
Yes.
Really?
Okay, so
Yeah.
neither of them run native 4K. Some
and
games have
Xbox
to
is
run
the
native
same
4K.
way.
Some games have to run native 4K.
I
Whether
think
it's,
if they're,
it's 4K
like-
30.
Like games
Yeah.
like Rebirth, no, it's still checkerboarded.
Can you tell the difference?
He's gonna say that he can.
You can. I don't think you can tell the difference enough for it to not be worth playing performance, because, and I test when I go into photo mode and take photos for games. I always switch it to fidelity because you really see that difference in textures in the minor stuff. But when you're moving around, especially in a game like Rebirth, it's not gonna change anything. The PS5 Pro, as they were developing it, they they had a bunch of games that they knew they wanted to run at native 60. So there's like a PS5
native
Pro.
4K.
Yeah,
with
so
60,
there's
yeah,
a
okay.
and the PS5 base can get games to 120 hertz, but at the cost of more resolution. And not many games do it. And even then, you're gonna have frame drops because that thing
Yeah.
is not built for that. The PS5 Pro, it's got like a list of games. Like almost all the launch titles for PS5. Ratchet and Clank is PS5 Pro enhanced. I think Baldur's Gate. A lot of them are.
Let me ask a question real quick. Is checkerboarding, is that basically just frame generation?
I don't think it's
graphics
frame. I
cards
think
do?
it's like AI upscaling.
I'm not sure about. No, I'm pretty sure it's just like. I don't think it's AI upscaling. It's just upscaling.
Yeah,
like,
upscaling.
It'll run at a resolution that's very like. I guess non-traditional.
Yeah.
Like as far as rendering. Okay, so when you play games on PC, there's like some setting. It's usually called like render resolution or something like that. That usually starts at like 1 and you can turn it down. What that's doing is you're outputting 4K. But it's actually rendering everything at a slightly lower resolution and then upscaling it to 4K.
There's
so
some
it's not
Blu-ray players that
natively
do it, too.
running it. It's not natively running it at 4K.
Okay.
That starts to get into the weeds where it doesn't really matter to me. Here's my biggest thing with the PS5 Pro. What is the price?
$700.
$799 or
And
is it $700? $699 or $799?
I think it's $699.
Confirm that real quick.
Yep.
I still
'Cause-
think it's too much.
I thought it was $799. I could have sworn.
I
it
don't
was
think it's 800. I think it's 700. If it is 800, that's even worse. But and
'Cause,
the
you
only
remember the PS3 when it
Yeah.
came out was $700 or
Was
six
it
or
really?
700.
Yes, it was
yeah,
600. I think.
when it dropped, it was like six or it was
How
either
much does it-
600
So
or 700.
$699
Yeah, it's
MSRP.
700.
Okay.
But isn't
And
there
it
two
flopped.
versions? Isn't there one that's a disc
No,
or just
no.
disc drive?
And
No,
the
they-
reason
neither
there
of
is
them
no
have the
disc
disc
drive. You
drive,
have to
yeah.
buy the disc drive
Separately. It's like a USB.
And the thing is, apparently they did that so it could be $699. Because if they had a disc drive built into everything, it was going to have to cost more.
Here's my thing with it. As a non-console gamer,
$80.
Well, I'll be ready to rip
the
into it
disc
in a
thing I
second.
think is BS. I think that's ridiculous. I don't see any reason why it should, which can go into one of our later topics about like physical media.
Mm-hmm.
I personally just don't like removing the disc drive because I feel like it
neither.
just leads the industry more and more towards completely getting rid of physical
Mm-hmm.
media. I prefer it as an option. I think you should have the option of physical media versus digital media. I think there's a lot of arguments for each one, but I don't think there should be something that completely tries to get rid of physical media.
I agree.
So, but other than that, I don't see it succeeding that well
No.
over the regular PS5 because of the price point. I foresee them dropping the prices eventually whenever it flops. However, I don't know why people are super mad about it because, like, I look at it from, like, the PC equivalent of, like, okay, say I want this higher level of performance. I'm going to spend an extra $200 or $300 on a better graphics card than what I'm looking at right now, you know? So it's like, you don't have to buy the PS5 Pro if you don't care. But I mean, if there are people that do care, I guess what we should be looking at, which it hasn't came out yet, has it?
It's out. They have them at GameStop.
Oh, so the PS5 Pro is out right now.
They were $650 for Black Friday, I think.
That's not even. That's
Yeah,
not
that's how
much,
you
dude.
know. Yeah, that's how you know that. But still, the fact that they're even dropping it on release on Black Friday shows. Because I mean,
Now you can afford the disc drive,
Nintendo does not drop their price on the Switch ever.
No,
for like
it's-
Black
it's
Friday,
still,
it's
like-
always $300 for the regular. So that's how you know it's
God,
it's
the
kind of
Switch
flopping.
Lite is
But
so bad,
I
too.
guess it depends on like how much more of a performance boost it is. But I mean, so
Well, it has native ray tracing in it too, whereas the base PS5 can't handle that
Yeah.
stuff.
I don't know. I just see it as something that's available for people that do care about that.
Yeah.
I
think it's just a huge mismanagement of resources to roll it out the way they did when so few people are going to be willing to spend that much.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I don't foresee it selling that well, but I also am not like mad at it. You know, like the PS3 releasing
Yeah.
back in the day at like 600 or 700, which is crazy for 2007 to even think about.
It's ridiculous.
There is something to be mad about because that was your only option.
Yeah.
You know? So I feel like that's why. I mean, it's not feeling like it flopped because of that. Because they thought that their success, their domination of the industry
Well,
with the
it was, say, 500.
PS2,
It was 500.
It was 500.
it was
Which is still
500.
crazy.
Okay.
That's
The
how much.
PS3.
I could have swore it was 600.
That's how much a brand new
600 was for
PS5
the
is.
60 gig. 20 gigs was 500.
Okay, so there still was a 600 one. I mean, 20 gigs
For
is
60,
crazy.
get
Yeah, see
we
that,
get a
that's what I'm
terabyte
saying.
base model now. What the heck was going on back then?
Either way, though, I mean that was a ridiculous price when the
It's
Xbox
still- yeah, I know
360
it was.
baseline launched at either 200 or 250. I mean, I'm pretty sure like the Xbox 360
How
arcade
much
was
it was? I
250.
think it was two.
It was half the
250 or
price, like
300.
literally half the price.
Yeah, that's
I
why
know,
it won that
'cause
generation.
That's why I feel like people deserve to get mad over
400.
that
400.
because that was just it did not launch at
Says-
400.
Sorry, 3 to 400. 300. I think there
So
was.
300, yeah. So
Yeah.
it would have been 300,
the
$200
premium was
less.
400.
Yeah, the highest end. They'll
Oh,
leave.
where did our lives go? Where
But
everything has a premium edition.
I think that's why
now?
the 360 generation was so strong, though.
That's
yeah,
why
for the
I
first
think
half.
that too.
Well, you
think,
know that generation, the PS3 actually ended up outselling the Xbox 360.
That's insane to me.
Which is crazy to
know
me.
Because
that.
everybody I knew in that, whenever I was playing
Had a
games back then,
360.
it was 360.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
all-
I had a 360.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had both. So we started on the 360. It red ringed. Then we got the PS3.
I never had that issue.
And
I
I didn't
always
even
finished
know that
two
we
consoles.
got the yellow light of death on the PS3 like a year or
Oh,
two in.
okay, yeah,
I didn't
yeah.
even know that existed.
Yeah.
I mean you heard about the red ring, but like so the PS3. Then we went back to Xbox 360, and then I think by the end of it we got a PS3 like super slim or something because like they were just like dirt cheap.
Yeah.
And there's just a lot of exclusives, so it was like kind of worth having. But I don't know. Yeah, I don't really see like while there's a huge uproar. So what is your uproar about it? Because I know you love Fidelity, you love all that stuff.
I think it's mismanagement of resources. Because I don't even want to think about how many of their engineers and people went into this. When we
You're saying
know,
they could be focusing on better stuff.
we know the 6 is coming out in 27, 28. Because all those leaked
We don't know that.
those
but-
leaked documents basically confirmed it. And the next Xbox will too.
No.
So let me ask you this though, because I feel like for every other time period of like console releases, you could much better estimate release dates because one competitor would have to follow the other. So like if Xbox was releasing like their next line around like this year,
Well,
the
that's how we
competitors
found
need to
out
match
about
it.
that, was the
However,
Microsoft
are we even
leaks.
so we're having another Xbox?
Yeah.
They're making another one?
They said they are.
That's
and
insane.
What's his name
I
said
can't
they were
believe
making another one.
that they're
Dude,
Well, I mean, what else would they do?
this gen Xbox has performed.
What do you mean? It's Microsoft.
So
Just
they
They
are
all
really
consoles?
pulling out.
No,
of
they
video
run the
games.
world. Microsoft runs the world, dog.
I mean, and plus they said like, besides Elder Scrolls, I don't think they're going to be putting out exclusives anymore. Really.
I don't think Xbox has ever made Microsoft money.
Really?
Yeah, like as far as like actually being profitable.
And I think that's
it's
why
literally
it's so
just
different.
like a side project to them.
Yeah.
It's such a side. You got to realize, like, I don't think maybe you don't realize that Microsoft. I mean, Windows.
Yeah.
Windows is the premier platform.
Yeah.
They have tons of stuff like for organization. I mean, it's Microsoft
Every
is
company
huge.
probably uses Premium Excel. Like,
No, it's not even Premium Excel. I mean, their whole organization is structured around like Microsoft servers,
Yeah.
Microsoft infrastructure, Microsoft email, all the 365 stuff. I mean,
Office
Microsoft
365. I didn't even think about
Microsoft
that.
is a powerhouse in ways that you don't even realize. That
They-
Xbox is literally a blip on the radar to
Yeah.
them. They do not care.
But
I feel like they're flopping so hard. I can't imagine they would
Do you
continue
think they're
it.
losing money with it, or you think they're breaking even?
I think they've always lost money with it.
Dude, have you seen how bad this generation for Xbox is performing?
Honestly, no.
I think it's. I read that. I think it's 70% of the purchases were the S and not the X.
And even then, in total sales,
The main one. They
Yeah,
made an
yeah,
S.
yeah.
It's like a tiny digital.
it's the $300 one,
console.
and then the X is the $500 one. But even that, I mean, their sales is like a tenth of what the PS5 is sold.
And then
Like,
you got
for
Switch.
both.
That's just.
Yeah, so and that's
destroy.
what I was about to say. Like, I feel like Nintendo's just on their own path. I feel like
Yeah.
they have abandoned like the normal generation cycle.
Mm-hmm.
Starting with the Wii U, whenever the Wii U came out, like I think 2 or 3 years before the
I love the Wii U.
PS4 and Xbox, to avoid having that direct comparison because they know it couldn't stack up as like hardware wise. So I feel like they've completely avoided that tradition. And then I'd be surprised if Xbox drops another console. I would be really shocked. But I feel like they're going to just stick with the series line. Maybe introduce something
Series
else in the
Z.
series. Yeah, maybe
Series
something
Y.
like that. I can
Gosh.
see them doing something
That's
like that.
like when we saw those videos of
Rather
Xbox
than-
720.
Yes.
Yeah, rather than like having a whole rollout for a brand new console, I don't
Yeah.
foresee Microsoft doing that. I'd be shocked. So I feel like Sony's kind of just like controlling the console market in that
Yeah.
regard, like the physical at home console market. You know,
Yeah.
Nintendo's almost like bridged into the handheld now, but Nintendo's their own thing.
Well,
So I would be surprised. I don't know. I
To
don't know.
narrow it all down, I just think it's a mismanagement of resources, and I think it's appalling that they thought they could release a $700 console and get away with it without
Yeah, they get cocky.
catching flack. And
They
that
always
is-
get cocky.
as a Sony simp, as a PlayStation simp, they always do a great job, and they're like, "Oh, we the best! Like we can't do any wrong," and then they
Double the
do
price.
wrong.
Yeah.
They make the worst decision they can make.
But they
and
give you the
consistently do
startup screen though. They gave you the PS1 skin.
And
That
dude,
made up for
like
it.
they consistently do this. Like,
But I think that gives credit to what you're saying about how they've monopolized the console market. They feel like they can do this because the competition really isn't there.
Yeah.
oh
Which
wait,
I don't
wait,
even
wait.
think they
What do you mean
monopolized it
monopolize?
too
I was gonna
much.
say,
Yeah.
we were talking about.
I think they're just the clear winner.
We were talking about how what the studios that Sony owns compared to Xbox owning Activision Blizzard and Bethesda
Yeah,
now.
Microsoft owns like
That's true.
Microsoft's the one that
I'm
has
talking strictly
tried
console.
to just throw since from the beginning has tried to just become a powerhouse solely with money.
The
That's true.
freaking government tried to stop them from getting Activision Blizzard.
I
They're
get,
like, this
I get
bad.
what you're saying.
No, do not give this to them. It
Yeah,
went through.
I don't think they. I think they've by choice fairly kind of won because
Yeah.
even when you look at like I mean there's not really any big exclusives they bought out that have been purely exclusive. At the most they've been timed
The
exclusives.
Halo launch for the
timed
new one was awful.
exclusives. The timed exclusive thing I don't
That
like
was
too much,
awful.
but like I mean. That doesn't bother me that much, especially when you compare it to like PS1 era when like a Final Fantasy VII, for example, wasn't coming to any other console.
I think it's great to see that now too, and see them
Yeah, I
embrace
love that it's a lot more like
Spider-Man 2
across
is in
the
January.
board, except for Nintendo. But
Again, Nintendo, it's a whole other ballgame.
and Nintendo's just in.
I think Nintendo is so far into their own ball game they don't have to worry about it anymore.
Yeah,
They
they just it's completely different.
Um,
Well, because I feel like nobody's gonna go PS5 or Switch.
They're always going to have a Switch.
I have both.
They're either
But
gonna
I
have
can
both
also
or just a
say I
Switch.
have both, and I haven't touched my Switch in over a year.
But you still bought it.
I bought it
That's
for.
all that matters to
I
Nintendo.
bought it
Well,
for
that-
Tears of the Kingdom.
And that's the thing about the profit too. Like I don't know Sony's margins on it. Every Xbox is sold at a loss. So like whatever price they sell you an Xbox at,
I
even full
think-
price, it costs them more money to manufacture, or at least it has historically. I don't know about the Series S and X, but historically it has. The Switch has always been profitable. Like even hardware alone has been profitable.
I think
for them.
Sony makes about $200 on every.
No,
PS5.
there's no way.
I
There's
think
absolutely no
I
way.
read it costs $400 to manufacture, and they so 100.
There's no,
Okay.
yeah, but you got to throw in every other fee. I mean, there's
Yeah,
a
let's
cajillion
see.
fees that come with it. They
How much
probably close to break
does
even. Their money isn't for hardware. Their money's software. They want to get you in the ecosystem so that you buy software. That's how they make their money. So a majority of the time, they'll even sell the consoles at
Production
a
costs
loss.
are $450. It says here.
Yeah, so then when you combine all the,
Yeah.
think about it. So they give them to all the retailers, like GameStop, for example. They're going to sell it at $500. GameStop has to make money on that, so they're giving it to them for probably less than $450. So they're ultimately going to be losing money. Most of them do that. They lose money on the hardware so that they get you in the ecosystem and you buy games. That's how, and they recoup their money back on the games.
Well, yeah, because I pay $150 a year for PS Plus because I
that
love
too.
it.
Yeah, the subscription things too. I forget that even exists. That's crazy. Because I haven't been a console gamer since like they started.
The thing is, I don't
forcing
even
on
really,
all those,
I don't
like,
even
monthly
really
things.
play online on it. I just like the game library. I can play Sly Cooper, like the OG Sly Cooper on my
Yeah, they have,
PlayStation, 'cause and
yeah,
you-
PS5 has like the
the
backwards
retro
compatibility
library.
as far as
That's-
like the older games like digital.
I just played the original Jack and Daxter like a year ago. Max, that was his first platinum. He replayed the first Jack and Daxter game,
Really?
and I was like, "You should platinum it." And I watched him play it the whole time.
Well,
Did it?
speaking of platinuming,
Uh,
so I think we talked about this in the last episode, but
He's extreme with it.
This is the dude that platinums like every game he gets
Everything.
obsessed with.
How many platinums do you have in total?
33.
33.
Oh, you know that like by heart?
I looked at it last
I
night.
figured he would, have it tracked.
I want to be
33 is kind of low, but you've re-platinum stuff, haven't you? Like, haven't
Well,
you like
I have,
platinumed and
like,
reset?
especially if a game that came out on PS4 got a PS5 release.
Yeah.
And I platinumed it already. I'm gonna platinum it again.
Wait, it carries over though, right? So like games you platinum back on the PS3, is
It
that
counts
still
as
on your
two
account?
plats. Yeah.
Okay, so like
But it brings
30.
it across the account.
So 33 isn't just PS5.
It's PS4 too, yeah.
Okay,
And PS3
okay.
no, all the way back to PS3 they're on there.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I was just making sure. So
Because I platinumed, I platinumed Republic Commando, and that's PS2 game.
Oh yeah, that's old.
So,
Old.
like old, like, what,
yeah, but you
2005?
replayed it on like the PS5 though.
Yeah. Well,
So
because
what I'm
they're in the
asking
game
is like
library.
back in like 2011, I platinumed a game on PS3. Is that still on my Sony account?
If you
on
have the same
PS5?
account, then yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's
it
what I was
transfers
wondering
all
if it
over.
transferred over.
Because there are levels. There's bronze, silver, gold, and platinum.
Yeah, I
I'm
remember that.
at silver with 33 plats. So I don't even want to think about how many I'd need to get. But
But
also,
you platinum long stuff too, though. Like, I mean, you've platinum Red
just
Dead 2.
platinumed Veilguard, and that took me 87 hours.
So you do it quick too. That's insane.
I platinumed, well, because I got it for $10, and you know I'm obsessed with Horizon. I'm an Aloy simp. I platinumed Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered in less than 23 hours. And it took me 2 days.
That's insane.
2 days.
Do you have any criteria for the games that you do platinum?
I'm not going to play it more than 2 times to platinum it.
Yeah, because that's one thing that kind of like throws me off is I'll be like, hey, I want to play this game. I have this obsession recently with like 100%ing games, and like Persona. I'm scared to play Persona because I
You can do
hear
it in
like
one.
you can do it in one.
P5R, I know.
But
you
like,
can.
okay, so let's say you're playing a game you're playing a game for the first time. You're playing a game for the first time. You know nothing about it, and you go and look up like a brief achievement guide just to figure out like how many playthroughs and stuff like that it'll take. And they start saying, "Oh, but make sure you do this random thing in like chapter 16 halfway
Well,
through the game." How do you know
here's
to
the
do
thing.
that? Like,
It's all you have to do. You press the PlayStation button, and there's a dashboard for trophies. There's a guide how to get them now for almost every game. And you can pin trophies. So if you have a trophy that's not going to appear for another 10 hours that you know you're going to forget, you can pin it, and whenever you press the button, it's going to remind you, hey, don't forget about getting this trophy later on. So that has been incredibly helpful too, and especially with their first party releases. Like Astrobot, I know for a fact every single trophy not only has a guide, but has a video guide of a developer getting the trophy on the dashboard.
They actually implement that themselves.
Yes, that's on every first party game. Spider-Man, Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, Steam has like the community
The
will
community
make a guide.
guide.
They have
Yeah.
so
It's
the
definitely not
devs of
as
the game,
in-depth.
the devs of the game have little like every single
But
one.
like
might take you
missable
30
ones,
seconds.
like I feel like it's such like it's hard because like I just want to sit back and play Persona 5.
Enjoy it.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
enjoy it without like okay, let me get the checklist out.
There
and,
are
like,
a lot of missable ones.
Like I feel like it's easier with missable ones whenever you've already played a game before. But like I don't want to replay Persona 5 like more than
I think
once.
it's hilarious that you even mentioned Persona because, you know, I'm in the process of 100%ing P4 Golden. There is one achievement where you collect all the books, the readable materials,
Yep.
on a specific day, because, you know, it goes by a calendar system. If you don't do a certain thing, you miss a book. And you have to go through
See, and
the
that's what
whole
I'm saying.
game.
Like
There's nothing like that. for
playing it,
P5.
playing it normally, like you just wouldn't know. Like your first time playing through the game, you wouldn't like even know to do that. It's so missable. Like
Well, I said earlier, like, I'm bad at video games in general. That's the only reason I haven't platinumed 7 is because I want to do the New Game
Final
Plus.
Fantasy 7.
Yeah,
Oh,
remake.
okay. Yeah.
Because
Yeah, you have to do it.
I
on
want
hard.
to play it. You can continue New Game Plus, so I wanted to play it. Every game I play first, I get crap. I play it on easy most of the time, just because especially if I'm playing a story game, I don't even want to struggle. I just want to blast through it. Lambaste me all you want in the comments because I know that's bad. But for remake, I want to do easy, New Game Plus medium, New Game Plus hard, New Game Plus isn't it ultra
God,
hard?
that sounds miserable.
Yeah, that's the thing because I don't think even now with New Game Plus I'd probably be dying all the time if I just played.
Well,
on
hard you
difficult.
can't use items.
Yeah,
They like disable
that's
items.
insane to me.
Yeah.
Does it work? I know some games work like this. If you play it on hard, does it give you the achievements for normal and easy?
Yes.
Well, you don't see the problem with Final Fantasy VII Remake.
not
You
like
don't unlock hard until
Yeah.
you beat it once. That's another thing I hate.
But
a lot of
for-
RPGs especially do that. Like Yakuza, for example, they have an achievement for beating it on Legend difficulty. You don't unlock Legend until you've played through the game once. So
I
that
think
automatically requires. See, I would even prefer if they just gave you all the difficulties at once and had the difficulty achievements, because I could just go straight in playing the hardest difficulty. I
But
don't mind that at all. I like the hardest
I
difficulty.
also
usually.
think the reason for that is it would be nigh impossible without the New Game Plus, right? Like for a lot of those hardest difficulties,
I'm
like
not sure.
death. I think for
As far as Final Fantasy VII Remake goes, I'm not sure.
well, you can't use items. You're starting from the beginning with no skills. I mean, I'm sure you could
Well, what
do it.
carries over in New Game Plus for that game?
I mean, everything. All your materia and your skills. And all
Not
that.
like items matter though, just the skills.
I mean, that is true. I mean, well, the thing
they,
is,
they matter.
Well, I'm talking about hard mode where
I'm
you can't use
I'm
items.
saying,
Oh, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
saying if you can level up your team well enough, you can just have healers on the
Yeah,
thing, so then you don't have to worry about.
yeah. I don't know.
know.
I don't mind difficulty. I just I don't like
My
when they lock difficulty behind completing it once, so it forces you. You have to play through it twice automatically for no reason.
it's dumb. My
Like, I would
rarest
rather
plat
just play it on the hardest difficulty
is
to begin with.
Fallout 4 recently got an update for PS5 and Series X. That came out on PC too, the new version, because it's like Skyrim Anniversary Edition. They added all the creation. Club
Yeah, I
stuff
went
to
back
it.
and played Fallout 4 around when it came out, and
made it canon.
and
The Enclave's in it.
I think it had
Um,
ultra wide. Like when I went back and played it.
Yeah,
like
the ultra wide actually works now.
Yeah, well,
Compared to, I mean,
it
it works
exists.
better.
I'll say
it works
exists.
better.
Yeah, it exists.
But I platinumed Fallout 5. I told you why it was so frustrating, because I beat the game and did all the endings and everything in like 40
Wait,
hours.
did you Fallout 5?
Fallout 4.
Fallout 4.
Sorry.
Oh.
And then Fallout 4. That one achievement or trophy where it's like, get your settlement to
The
maximum
settlement,
happiness.
yep.
I
Dude.
spent 30 hours of my life just doing that.
I'm like 70% through all the achievements in Fallout 4, and then I noticed the settler one, like the max happiness, and I was like, I'm just gonna stop playing because
Dang,
this
that's
is gonna take
second-
so. If you don't start that,
Oh.
and that's my point. That's my point. Like that makes it very redundant because
Mm-hmm.
like that means you pretty much when starting the game have to go through the achievements and
Yeah.
make a plan almost.
Well, that doesn't
because
bother
like
me, though.
if you start from the beginning. And to work on like the settlement happiness, then it's not that bad. If you've played through the entire game though, like now you're just sitting there with like a 20-hour chore.
To platinum Skyrim, I had a literal journal that I wrote stuff down in, because to bring back the Thieves Guild to its former glory, you have to do 3 jobs
But those aren't missable
in
though,
every
really.
No, they're not missable, but I'm saying it doesn't keep track of it for you.
Mm-hmm.
So they might give you 2 Riften jobs in a row of the same job type. You're not going to get anywhere with that, because you have to do it's complete RNG. They don't give it to you based on what you need.
Yeah.
They give it to you based on you ask them. They might give you the same job 8 times in a row. My second rarest is a game I've been begging Ryan to play called Kena Bridge of Spirits, and I love that game. I had not heard of it. It was just on PlayStation Plus, and I was like, I like the art style of this, so I'll play it. And I had so much fun with it. I know Ryan would be obsessed with it, because it's like Japanese culture. Like, it's so good. The combat's so fun, and you have to beat that on the hardest difficulty, and I did it. It took me, I think I beat the game and got every other trophy in like 11 hours. And it took me 25 hours to beat the game on ultra hard, just blasting through it. 'cause
I just
it's
realized
so
something while you were
difficult.
saying that. Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth came out this year? Or the Beach one came out this year?
Infinite Wealth came out this year, and so did The Man Who Erased His Name. I think
I'm
that's what it's called.
surprised, whatever
They
Like a
made it
Dragon came out this
turn-based,
year.
dude, which makes it harder to get into.
Well, yeah, I played they started that with Like a Dragon. I
Yeah.
played Like a Dragon. I haven't played whatever the next one is. I
Are
don't
you
know if
talking
there's
about Infinite
two.
Wealth?
Infinite Wealth came out this year, right?
Yeah.
I
did.
think it's so jarring to go back and play them, where you're just going ham, and then go into turn-based.
They're fun, dude. Have you played Like a Dragon?
I've watched people play it, but I've also really never been able to get into turn-based.
Oh, okay.
P5R was the first and pretty much only that I've been like, oh heck yeah, I like this.
I don't know.
And
I feel like
maybe
you
it's
would
just 'cause
like
it
a
was-
Dragon if you liked Persona 5.
Alright,
Though.
I mean, I'll have to try
I
it.
feel like
The
you
thing
would.
is, I want to play all the others, and they're so long.
Yeah.
Max
Yeah.
was gonna try to 100% Kiwami, and he saw how much it was, and he's like,
I
What-
think
what-
you can start with Like a
I'm
Dragon
not
though, like without having to play the others.
have you played Judgment?
Judgment? I haven't.
My
no.
friend is playing that right now, and he's
That's like
he's
the
really like, it's a
standalone.
spin-off about
Yeah,
the
yeah,
detective.
yeah.
And
Is it on PC? I know it's on.
Maybe it's
He-
on
console.
PlayStation Plus.
Yeah, that's what I was just
Um,
about to say. It's on PlayStation
See
Plus.
if it has a PC release.
Yeah, I
they're-
mean, there's too many of them though. I want to play through the like the main Yakuza
Yeah.
games to hit
it's
before
on
getting
PC.
to it. But you should check out Like a Dragon though. I think it's really good. If you like Persona, I think you'll like it a lot.
I was gonna say
but
I
I'm surprised that didn't get nominated this year. I feel like it was
I-
kind
I
of
think the
popular
year
when
was
it
too
came out.
stacked.
I also
Yeah,
think there's a
I agree.
recency bias because it came out in January.
Yeah, that is true. It feels like it came out. Like that's why I had to ask if it
Because
even
it feels like
came out.
last year.
Yeah, yeah.
That's like the opposite of the Oscars with movies. The closer to the end of the year it comes out, it gets
The
all
more likely
stacked.
you to get snubbed. Yeah.
Yeah, and then like, because Dune 2 came out in, was it February or March, and that's probably gonna get nominated for everything. And
Dune 2?
yeah, Dune Part 2 was March when we saw it, right?
Oh yeah, Dune 2 is gonna sweep.
Oh, crap. I forgot there was a part 2.
Yeah.
That's what we
Holy
saw.
moly. Yeah, no, I don't know, man.
I've never seen you so enamored with a movie before, honestly.
It was.
Oh, you liked it?
I'm
Did you
not-
see the first one?
We
watched the first
Yeah,
one.
we watched the first
We
one.
watched
night
the old one
before.
first. We
Yeah,
went back
that
and
was
watched the
crazy.
old one. It was so bad. It was so
I
bad.
forgot it was cut into 2 pieces, though. To be honest with you,
Well, he said he was like, I can't make a 5-hour movie and get away with that.
Dude, I'm not gonna. I did not like Dune 1,
The-
but I know nothing about Dune previously, and I think that was the problem.
I mean, I
Like
read the
everybody
book
I
when
know,
I was young. So.
yeah, everybody I know that went into it having read the book or I guess watching the original
Yeah, 1984.
enjoyed it a lot
think.
more than everybody I know that had no idea what it was and went in just like straight to watch
Here's
it.
my thing.
I literally fell asleep.
I
I'm not
know
joking.
for a
Like I'm not
fact-
exaggerating. I
I
fell
know-
asleep in the movie theater.
Oh, I was gonna say if you see it in a theater, I don't know how you do.
I
Go
literally
crazy with
woke
it.
up and the movie was still going.
Well, we also saw it in IMAX and a sold out IMAX, and I'm telling you,
Hey, I don't care how beautiful it looks. That movie was
Oh,
straight
dude.
boring to me. Like,
Well, the
I
first one
literally
or the
fell
second
asleep.
one?
The first one. I never saw the second one.
the first one is basically just all set up
Yeah.
because we watched it before we went. And I remember we walked out of Dune 2, and I was like, God, I love that. Max put his hand on my shoulder, and he said, Madison, that's the best movie I've ever seen in my entire life. And I was like, are you joking? He's like, no. Like, his pupils were still dilated.
I guess I just need to dive into it. I need to get the backstory so that I can watch Dune 1 and then maybe
The
try
book's
Dune
very
2.
good. There are like
Right.
6 books.
well, I know he says that we watched the first one the night before.
That they didn't.
Quote
I did.
unquote. It was playing in the background while we were doing other stuff.
Okay.
We never
That-
really
So
we were
did you
playing
know what was
Magic.
going
No,
on
we
in
were
Dune
playing
2?
Magic.
sort of.
We were playing Magic, and you guys were like, Madison, it's your turn. And I was looking at the TV like,
Dude, playing Magic while watching Dune is insane to me because, like, I feel like it's so, like, you have to be, like, focused on what's going
Oh.
on. Because even in the theater, I had no idea what was going on. I'm, like, sitting there watching it, and I thought, like, something was wrong with me. I'm like, I'm so confused. Like, am I, like, slow?
if you miss
Like-
one beat, you're not gonna know what's going on.
Yeah, I
A
was,
war in my father's name.
I was so confused sitting there because I went with, like, 6 other people, and I was just sitting there, like... Are they picking up on, like, am I missing something here? Like, I don't know what's going on. And then, like, eventually, like, an hour in, one of them leaned over and they were like, hey, does this movie suck to you too? And I'm just like, yeah. They're like, would it be bad if we just, like, walked out? And I'm like, yeah, probably.
I think you also really have to be into like that genre.
Yeah.
Like,
But I
you
feel like
really
I could
have
be
to be
that
into, like,
genre. And I like
sci-fi,
long movies too. Like I have no problem
stuff
with
like
like
that.
long genre
Lord
movies.
of
Like I mean,
the
I love
Rings.
Lord of the Rings. For the
What was
exact
our next
reason, but-
video game topic? I'm gonna ruin this podcast.
Yeah.
We're
I
gonna
want
talk
to know
about
what
movies
the heck
too.
is swag after?
Okay, so swag. He put
Yeah, hold
swag
on.
after.
Swag
That's
af-
about the strike.
Swag after is
The
what's on our
strike,
notes.
the actor's strike, which I think is going to.
So what is that? You
significant-
know, I think you're the only one here that actually knows about that. 'cause you
So
added
they're
it
on
to the
strike for
list.
AI.
Who's on strike?
For the
Game
entire
developers?
actor. No, the actors. get
Movie
the
actors,
voice actors.
voice
For
actors.
like
Okay.
games and stuff.
Because a
for
lot of
games or
these,
for everything.
I mean, for everything.
Okay.
TV shows, but video games are getting impacted more than anything.
So they're on strike because I guess studios are using like
Well, a lot of studios are now like, we're gonna take your voice and record it.
oh,
and
I
make
see.
an
Okay,
AI
I got
out
it. I got it.
And obviously, these voice actors are like, no,
I mean, that's their moneymaker.
absolutely not. And I think another thing is, unless you're this huge, ridiculous, giant name, voice acting does not pay well, like at all. You can have who is it? They made a post the other day. They're like the lead role in some game, and they don't make enough to afford their apartment.
Yeah, wasn't it like the Bayonetta voice actor said she
Oh, yeah,
made like
she-
3,000 or something
Yeah,
like that? Which I think that may have been proven as a lie. I don't know the details of
But
that.
and that may have been proven, but I mean, that's the whole reason the Screen
if
Actors
I actually got
Guild-
away with saying that and nobody like called it out as BS, shows that like the pay must be that low.
Well, that's I think around a year ago, all the actors in Hollywood went on strike because they were showing, especially TV actors, they were showing their paychecks like it was crazy. It was abysmal, like how much they were getting paid for.
Yeah, I wonder what those like AI contracts look like. Like, because I'm assuming what they're doing is, let's say you're the voice actor for a popular character like Bayonetta, for example, like
Yeah.
it has a recognizable voice, and now they're approaching you and saying, "Hey, you're going to record this amount of audio
See,
so
I
that we
wanna
can train an
look this
AI
up,
for the
sure.
future. You don't even have to be involved." But I
Yeah.
assume you get some sort of residual.
You would assume.
Yeah,
but
you would
I don't- I
assume.
don't
Well, James
think
Earl
that
Jones
falls-
signed
mine.
over his entire likeness to Disney before he died.
Yeah, I know.
But I think
hasn't,
that was because money for his family. and
who's the
stuff.
Iron Man guy? I forgot his name.
Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah, didn't he sign over like?
It's the AI. That's actors are concerned that companies could use AI to replicate their voices or create digital replicas of their likenesses without the consent.
But I'm pretty
or
sure.
compensation.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, but I'm
there's
pretty sure
consent
they're
involved,
doing
I
it with consent,
understand.
though. I'm pretty sure they're. I don't think they're going up and like they're doing this in these massive projects without like contracts being signed. Like, I mean, they're not gonna like AI Robert Downey Jr. into an Iron Man costume in a movie without his without a lot of legal boundaries.
I think this strike is more about.
I think they're trying to force people's hand into it. They're saying like, "Hey, we're not going to renew you for this job because we can just get somebody else that will sign over the rights, and then we can just stop using people."
That's one thing that has happened is they've brought in in movies and stuff. They've brought in extras for 20 minutes, and they just scanned them, and they're like, "What the hell? Why am I getting scanned?"
And then that's it.
They just made 3D models of them instead of having to pay them to be there.
Yeah, and extras aren't like in the industry enough to even realize that they're being taken advantage of. You know,
I think.
So they're just like, "Hey, you're going to be in this movie. Sign this." You know, they're probably signing away.
I think to some degree they may think it's faster, but also like how much has to go into making those models look good enough to. There's a clip.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
there's a clip. I'll send it to you so you can put it in here. I think it was a Disney movie where they had a basketball game or something, and a lot of people in the crowd were AI, and they just looked awful. They're like, compared to the other people who were real, and that became like a staple of why are we doing this? Why can't we just have real people there? You don't get paid a lot. I was a PA for a couple movies that filmed in Thomasville, and I got paid $10 an hour as a PA. Extras get paid less.
What's a PA?
Producer's assistant.
Oh, okay.
So, like, if they needed a pair of mics or cameras sent across somewhere to, like, base camp or the other set.
Or coffee.
Yeah.
But I mean, I get it, though. I mean, like, I don't think you should be paid crazy for that. Like,
well, no, but...
I feel like the paying an AI thing is a little bit separate. But, the AI thing's always kind of weird because I wonder if, like, the work is being replaced somewhere else. You know, like, if they're replacing, 5 people's direct physical involvement in this movie with AI, how many people is it taking to make sure that's
exactly.
up to standard, you know?
And I think it's worse for voice actors because it's way easier to replicate a voice than it is a face.
I think it also raises the bar of entry because I feel like a lot of people who get started in that industry, I feel like maybe not a lot, maybe I'd want to say 50% just purely guessing. That's how they got their start.
What?
Being an extra.
Yeah.
I mean, in video games,
any
like,
exposure to the
background
industry.
voice, like,
yeah.
And I think it's way worse, and people are mostly worried about them getting to the point where they don't even have to even think about hiring an actor for a background role. They're just like, AI says this, and it sounds okay enough to... That is kind of scary. Like, if you've wanted to do that your whole life, and they're like, oh, we don't need extras. And they're like, what? Why? It's like, we're just using the AI
I think,
for it.
I think, and this is kind of AI in a lot of industries, game, movies, anything. I think it makes the barrier of entry for creating stuff as like somebody sitting in a room a lot easier.
Yeah.
Because
I agree.
now you say like you've always wanted to make some sort of like animated film like yourself or something, and but you don't have that strong of a voice. Now you can get an AI model to just like paste over your voice.
I still wouldn't do it.
Yeah, I know you wouldn't, but I'm saying you have the ability to now.
Yeah.
Like I think it breaks the boundaries for what people are able to create as individuals. The problem is that major corporations are going to take advantage of that.
Well, it's the same with AI video editors. I think if you don't have the money to hire someone to do it, honestly, go for it, because I get that. I'm a broke man.
But when it's Disney that does make billions of dollars and they start laying people off.
And if you're a studio who can afford that, I think that's abysmal, and I think that's awful.
Yeah.
And, I'm passionate about this because I've been doing this stuff since I was like 14 years old. It really makes me mad, but I don't think it's going to get any better.
Yeah, I don't think it'll get any better, but hopefully things like the strikes will at
well,
least
the actor strike worked. How long were they on strike? A couple months, and the studios finally gave in. They're like, we can't make any movies or shows.
Mm-hmm.
But
they
it's only
had
for
to.
this moment. I feel like that this issue will happen again.
Oh,
Yeah.
of course it will. And one of the biggest issues with that strike was AI too.
Mm-hmm.
And they made them basically
with
strip
like,
everything out.
I think like screenwriters, copywriters.
Yeah.
Like,
They basically were like, we're not coming back until you completely get rid of AI.
Yeah.
And
Which
they held out for
there's-
so long.
there's been some ChatGPT movies like
Oh, absolutely.
100%. You
Dude,
and all.
I
You
can
think
tell.
that's what bugs me so much is I could probably, obviously it takes some tinkering, but you could probably sell a ChatGPT script, like to a studio.
100%, yeah.
There was it rarely happens, but some screenwriter wrote a script about like AI and stuff and like taking over the world and stuff. And it was a spec script. I think it sold for $1 million to.
That's
It
crazy.
is AI that wrote it.
No, it's
Oh.
just it's about AI. But spec script, you used to hear about that a lot more in the mid 2000s. I'm sorry, we're getting off track again.
No,
we need to
you're-
have a separate movie podcast.
Dude, it's fine.
But nowadays, most of the writing and stuff is done in house. They'll know who they want in mind.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that has nothing to do with AI, but that also has made it a harder barrier of entry for just if I wanted to write a script and I showed it to everyone and they thought it was good enough, they probably wouldn't even look at it because I'm not a household name.
I mean, and even as far as games, like, I mean, games employ, like, game development companies
Narrative
employ
design
tons
and
of,
stuff.
well, I mean, separate from story, like, animators, you know, designers. I mean, that stuff I feel like is going to get to a point where a lot of it can be replicated by AI.
That's genuinely scary to me. I feel like it will impact games quality too, like personally.
That's my biggest thing too, is that like we're at a point right now where like the quality separation is there. Like it's not able to like match the quality, but people are still using it. Like they're trying to give you this, like sell you on this quality with this.
And it's not just that; it is stealing from everything it goes through.
Yeah, ultimately it is. I mean, it
like
has
it is
to base it off
plagiarism.
something else, but people do that too, though. I mean, like if you're developing a game and you need to make like a walking animation, you're gonna look up something online. To reference, you know.
Do you think that's different though, like Blender assets and stuff? Do you think that's plagiarism, or if it's like a free asset, do you think?
Well, they have like laws and stuff as far as that. Like free assets have
on
like
Blender you can
royalty
it's
laws
categorized,
and stuff.
right?
But
free
they'll
assets
say
that
like
you can use.
a lot of the free ones will be like non-commercial or it'll be commercial up to a certain extent, or like free with royalties. Some of them are just completely free. There's a lot of like waters in it, but I'm just saying like as far as I don't know. I'm always like kind of half and half on it because like it's basically getting the pool of stuff that exists, taking from AI, is learning from it, and then creating something new based on all these things. But that's also kind of what humans do. I mean, we're gonna look at stuff pre-existing as a basis to make something new. So, but see, in some regards, like the coding, like there's for like programming. There's something called I know, like I think GitHub came out. It was called like Copilot, and when it came out, it was like directly like taking like code from other people's projects, like very like they were able to like line it up with where it pulled that code from. Like it wasn't like learning it and then like creating it new. They were literally just like taking from it. So I think over time that'll improve. I think like the area of like plagiarism, I think for the future isn't going to be that big of a thing, but yeah, I don't know. I think it is something that like the industry as a whole should steer away from. I think it's something cool that like hobbyists should like try out, but as far as major corporations taking advantage of it, I mean, again, I don't foresee a major corporation like I said, cloning Robert Downey Jr.'s voice for the next Iron Man without a bunch of legal hoops.
If he gives them permission.
Exactly, yeah. What they're going to do, and that's what these strikes are probably going to do, rather than stopping it, it's going to make it like, okay, well, we're going to pay you out like out the butt for it, you know, and then these people are probably going to fold and be like, okay, well, I'm fine taking this amount of money to do nothing. But
I do think it could possibly get to the point where, what is it that you use for stock footage? Is Adobe something, right?
Yeah, there's a ton of them out there, but
so
yeah, like Adobe
I feel like
stock.
it could get to the same point with
which already has that, by the way. AI.
Voice AI?
No, not voice AI.
There are websites that have that.
And images.
I used to there was a competition every year for like make a trailer out of the footage they have, like Film Supply. That's what the website's called. And I had to stop even going to the website because now they're like, change your voice with AI or do this with AI. And I'm like, well, this industry is going downhill, bro. I just want to edit a video. I don't want to... AI filters like over your face to make you like the
Robert Downey Jr.
I'm just like, oh my god. If we want to change subjects, I have I'm getting too upset. Like my blood pressure is gonna go through the roof. I have a reliable scoop from someone that I can't tell you who it is until after the podcast ends, but someone who got laid off from a certain company and showed us all their stuff and their info and their badges, and I can't say who it is, and I can't say what company. I'm about to out them. I'm about to out them when I say what game it is. I'm not gonna say their name or how I know them, but I do know that they did get laid off and worked there for 100%. Because I've seen all the stuff, and they gave them a backpack for like, bye, we're laying you off. Here's a backpack. There is going to be a significant, not just remaster, Almost a remake of Oblivion.
Really?
It's in development right now.
They work
Huh.
for Bethesda?
Yes.
Huh.
You sure I don't need to edit this out?
Maybe. It's up to you. If you want to keep it in, they're not going to watch
I mean,
this.
I don't know who this is. That's
They're,
up to
they're
you.
not going to watch this.
Yeah, I
At
don't know
first,
who this is.
everyone was like, "No, that's bullcrap."
Hey, well, you've heard it here first. Remake of Oblivion in development.
They
coming soon.
they came on. They were like, "You know what, y'all, I hate you guys because I'm going to prove you wrong." And he came on the video chat and he like pulled up the backpack. This is the backpack. This is the backpack that these gave me before. He was on their marketing team too.
Huh.
So you can imagine why he probably got fired.
Well, if he was on marketing, then that has to have been like that's a project that's been in the
that's
works
that's
for a
what
while.
I was saying. I was like, they're
for it to have made it to the marketing.
and I
team.
said remake or remaster. He said Unreal Engine 5 type.
So remake.
Yeah.
And
And I didn't believe him at
Nah,
first.
I don't believe that either. No,
But
because
then he-
Bethesda is like
Yeah, that's my
solely
thing.
bound to like their engine for like games.
That's my thing.
don't
I think he may
foresee
have
it.
just meant it looks really good.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, if you play Starfield on max settings, it looks really good. It's
Yeah, he
just
was on the marketing team. You probably didn't know.
it's
Yeah.
still held back.
That's
Starfield.
interesting.
I want to play Starfield.
I haven't played Starfield.
I feel like I'd like it a lot.
Oblivion
because
remake, I feel like is kind of pointless. Like, I don't think we
it's gonna
need
make
an
them
Oblivion
money.
remake.
It'll make them money.
Anything will make them money though. They release anything under the Elder
If
Scrolls
I don't
name.
get Elder Scrolls 6, I don't care how bad it is. I don't care if it's not better than Skyrim. I just want to play that game. Okay? Skyrim Grandma's in it as an NPC. That's confirmed.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
And they've released videos of the textures and stuff and going through the map, and they look amazing. Like, they actually look insane for Bethesda.
I bet
So,
it's been worked on for like a decade.
and you know what? If they work on it, as long as it's good and ready when it comes out, I'll wait.
So let me get into that. Let's make that the next topic. What games are you like excited for? Since you're like really kind of still into like modern games, like Full Force.
6.
Yeah, GTA 6 obviously.
That's going to
when
win
does that
most
come out?
anticipated at the Game Awards.
Oh yeah. There are other categories we didn't even go
Um,
over. If we want to brief over
The
those,
thing
like,
is,
real
the
quick.
most anticipated, it's got some good games in it, but GTA 6 is going to win.
It's gonna win,
Like,
yeah,
what,
yeah.
why do they even have it?
It's and because they dropped that trailer too. Like it's kind of set to come out soon.
Dude, that
When does it come out? Next year?
next fall?
Oh, it's slated to
fall.
come out next year?
Yeah.
Oh,
They
okay.
said they're keeping the release date. It's next fall. They said as of right now, it's not getting delayed. Another game I'm excited for is Kingdom Come Deliverance 2.
Mm-hmm.
And they moved that release date up,
Oh.
which shows you that never happens in this industry.
Yeah.
So they are confident in that game. There's a game called Crimson Desert. I really, really want to play. And they've put out like over 15 hours of gameplay for that game so far. What else is coming out that I know I want to play?
So a couple of interesting ones coming out is they're doing another Fable game.
Fable.
Really?
Yeah, it's an
I
Xbox
didn't know that.
exclusive though,
I did not know that either.
so I'll have to play it on PC.
Well, it'll be on. Yeah. Okay. So it'll be on PC.
The next Ghost game,
Ghost of Yote.
What is that? Ghost of Tsushima.
Ghost of Tsushima
Yeah.
sequel,
Okay.
takes place 327 years after.
Oh wow.
Is that going to be a Sony exclusive?
Yeah.
Isn't Ghost of Tsushima?
It'll come to PC. But
Okay.
That Marvel game looks really good.
Marvel
The Night Rise of
1943.
Hydra. Have you seen the stuff for that?
Mm.
They like built new mocap tech just for that game. I'll have to show you the video before or after we're done. But it's crazy.
Is Metroid Prime 4 actually slated?
It's
next
not
year?
confirmed, but it's slated for next fall.
'Cause it has
I
it
don't think
listed
they
here.
said a specific, but they may have said a year in the trailer. I'm not sure, but I think they said 2025 in the trailer.
I'm excited for the new Metal Gear Solid.
They're making a new Metal Gear
That-
Solid.
well, it's
The
a
Snake
remake
Eater
of,
remake.
of Metal Gear
Oh.
Solid
That Hideo had
Of the
nothing to
first
do
one?
with. No, the third one.
So if
So it's a remake of Snake Eater.
Yeah,
Yes.
Snake Eater.
That Kojima's not
That
involved
Kojima's
in.
not involved with and has not supported at
So
all.
he doesn't have like any of like the
no, I think
rights
he's
or.
been separate from them forever now.
He got
Well, I know
kicked
he is
out.
from Konami, so I'm
Yeah.
guessing Konami had all the rights to
Konami
Metal
still
Gear
has the
Solid.
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, I'm gonna be playing Death Stranding 2.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna platinum Death Stranding. I am gonna platinum that.
That one
So we
also
have
slated.
to lie about not playing Metal Gear Solid 3 then.
What do you mean?
It's like, yeah, we're not playing Metal Gear Solid 3
I probably
remake.
won't play it, dude.
You actually won't?
The thing is, when you hit me on my principles, I'm not gonna betray
I'll
it.
play
It
it.
doesn't matter.
I'll screw
I just
the
kind of
principles.
question the quality.
Well,
The thing that is bugging people is it's the same voice acting with these current graphics.
oh, is it?
Yeah, they didn't update the voice acting at all, and some of it's really jarring.
Time to get AI.
Yeah, I feel like it would be. I mean,
It is, like, look
imagine
at
the
the
Resident
trailer.
Evil 4 remake, but with like the voice acting
Yeah,
from.
I'm gonna play that soon. The 4
yeah, I
remake.
haven't played 4 remake yet.
Oh,
I played like an hour of it when
I
it came
am
out.
excited for Monster Hunter Wilds.
Yeah,
That one looks
I think
really
the next
good.
Resident Evil is probably getting revealed that next week too.
I
really.
hope so.
And we know the whole plot got leaked.
I really.
So I sent it to you. I sent it to you.
Oh,
They're all
that's
back.
right.
Leon, Claire, in their 50s.
All of them are be so old.
And dude, as someone who cannot play like scary games by themselves, playing or watching Max play 7 and 8 was some of the most fun I've ever had.
Watching somebody else play it.
Because that part in 8 with the baby.
So, do we know anything about the next Resident Evil? Like, I guess
Yeah,
it'd be
the whole
9.
plot has been.
But I mean, as far as gameplay wise, like, do
I
we
think
know
it's
if
going to be
it's
the same.
so first person?
And I mean, they're
more horror
remaking
focused?
5. Because
Really?
they set up the 5 remake at the end of the 4 remake.
I kind of hope we go back to the third person style.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I
don't really
I
do
like
first
7
person.
and 8, but I do like I played 7 and 2 at the same time. I
Yeah.
waited to play 7. I never played 7 when it came out, and when 2 came out,
Kevin,
I got
7's
both of them, played through 7, and then played through 2.
7 scared me
I
so much.
loved 7, but 2 just blew it out the water me at least.
I
I
don't
enjoyed
know.
2 way more from a like it was more scary because I felt more like
Oh, I don't know about that.
Like-
I think generally I get scared easier in a first person.
I think
perspective.
traditionally, yeah, but I'm just saying like I can't compare anything. Like movies don't usually scare me. Games usually scare me because you feel like you're in
Yeah,
it. You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
you get engulfed in it. So when
I-
something
yeah.
comes at you, you're actively trying to
No,
avoid it as
ugh.
if you would in real life. A movie,
Mr.
you're not
X.
like trying to avoid it. Yeah, I can't think of anything in 7 that was like scaring me as much as like trying to avoid Mr. X chasing
spider
me.
lady, the part where you're in the part where you're in the
probably
girl's
right.
room.
Yeah.
You're in the girl's room, and you hear the laugh and turn around, and you see her feet.
It's
under
still
the
similar
thing.
though. Like I just overall I think I liked Resident Evil 2,
I
the
think
3D style or the third person style better than
2
the
is
first person.
scary, but not like 7 and 8 for me. Because there were parts, especially in 8, the whole dollhouse part had me literally like I had my hands cover my eyes because I couldn't. I
Yeah, and
couldn't
I haven't
do
even
it.
played 8.
So I think the only reason the first person works in those games is because we're following Ethan.
Yeah, and we haven't seen him.
Because even playing, I felt a disconnect playing the Not a Hero DLC for 7 where you played as Chris.
Yeah.
So I do think that if we are going to be...
Please tell me that's been recording. Oh, okay. Sorry.
I do feel like if we are going to be seeing a returning character, you know, like a beloved character,
Yeah.
it'd be really nice to appreciate them, you know, third person.
I doubt it.
I think a 5 remake would be cool. I'd want to play
I
that
do
I
I
5
think
is
with
in
the
that-
current camera controls, it would be so much
yeah,
better.
5 is in that kind of space where it's like old enough where I haven't played it in so long,
Yeah.
but old enough to where like I don't want to go back to it.
I
to
had
play
a
it.
lot of fun with it. It
Yeah,
was very
I remember
hard.
it being a fun game.
It was hard, especially because you can't. It's like
It's a lot better than 6.
Oh,
I remember
yeah.
I got 6 like day 1 and
Yeah.
it sucked. man.
I really
played
only
through
like
it.
I only
played
like
through it in,
Leon's
like, 3
story for
days.
that game.
Yeah, I think I beat
Ada's was
Leon's
okay.
story. I did Leon's story first, beat Leon's story. I want to say I beat Chris's, and then there was a third one. I don't remember
Ada.
who it was. No, not in 6. It
Not in
was,
6. Ada
it
had a
was
whole
some bald
storyline
guy.
about a clone and everything. Are you sure?
No, it was as the like main
It wasn't
protagonist you
Sherry
play as.
and-
No, it was another guy. I'm pretty sure he was like a bald guy.
Wesker's son. Because Sherry, the little girl from Resident Evil 2, was with him. They were grown up.
I'm not sure what the third one was, but I didn't like it.
storylines.
So I didn't beat like all the storylines.
I don't like that
in
they
it.
separated the storylines, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I mean, if they would have did a good job with it, I wouldn't have minded. But
There's 4 campaigns.
4, okay,
Ada's-
yeah, I thought there
Ada's
was only
is in
3.
there.
Okay, so there is an Ada one.
Leon's, Chris's, Jake Wesker.
Jake
so
Wesker,
Albert
yeah,
Wesker's
yep,
son,
that's
and
what I'm
then
thinking
Ada's.
So I didn't even know there was an Ada one. I beat the Chris one and the Leon one. The Leon one was the best one. That's
I like
the one
the
I started
Leon
with first.
one.
I didn't like it, but it was okay enough for me to finish it. The Chris one was just like a grind to get through, but I was like, I want to finish everything, and by the third one, it was just. Like,
Have you
man,
watched
I
all
don't-
the movies and shows, the animated ones? Because they're all canon.
I haven't watched them to the point of like knowing what happened in them. I like.
I
briefly,
really like them.
Are you guys talking about the Resident Evil movies?
Yeah,
Resident
Not
Evil.
the
You've seen
live action ones.
I haven't watched the Death Island, the newest.
Death Island. Have you watched like all the movies? Like there's 4.
The animated ones?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's 4, and then what's the one that came out in like 2019? I loved that one.
The
Infinite
series
Darkness
on Netflix?
Yeah, Infinite Darkness is what it was.
That one
and it was
followed
really
Leon.
good. I also have not watched Death Island. I need to because
yeah.
Death Island is the most recent in the timeline.
Any
Like,
of them I would have seen would have been like 15 years ago, and I don't remember anything about them. So.
I wouldn't care about them if they weren't confirmed canon.
Mhm.
Because you've seen Leon in a lot of them, and you haven't seen him before that in the
I just
timeline.
like seeing Leon be cool.
Oh, Leon being a
he's
depressed
always cool.
alcoholic. He's a depressed alcoholic.
He fixes himself.
Yeah. He gets the girl.
That's freaking Chris in Resident Evil 6. He's
Yeah.
the depressed alcoholic.
Okay, let me ask this then. What's the best Resident Evil?
2.
Okay, well,
Video
hold
game?
on. Let me start with you first. Yeah, best Resident Evil
wait.
video game out of including originals, remakes.
Originals and remake?
Yeah, so like when you say 2, were you saying 2
2 remake.
remake? So
Yeah.
you think 2 remake's your favorite
Yeah.
out of all of them? And you haven't played the 4 remake, have you?
No, but I think that would be a contender if I played it.
Yeah.
I have
okay.
played 2 remake and I've played 3 remake.
Okay.
And I liked 3 remake. I didn't. A lot of people didn't, but I really liked it.
Did you play original OG 3?
Yeah, have you played
No.
any of the original Resident Evil? Yeah,
No.
I think that's...
Absolutely not with those fixed.
Dude, that's...
I was about to curse. Not with those fixed camera angles, bro. Absolutely not.
That's the problem that people had with 3 remake, just because they cut some pieces of the game out.
I played 5, the original 5, and
Well-
I played a little bit of the original 4 on the GameCube.
Oh, so you've never played the original 4?
I have. I played a little bit
I mean,
of
in
it. I've
full.
never beaten it. No. No.
That's crazy.
But I mean, my thing is, why would I when I have the brand new one? Right there?
I don't know. I think the 4 and 4 remake are pretty distinct. I'm not going to say one's better than the other, but like I think they're separate enough to where it's worth playing
Dude,
both of them in my
Didn't that
opinion.
come out this year?
No, it came out last
4
year.
remake?
Yeah, last year.
Did it get nominated for Game of the Year last year? It should
I
have.
imagine
It
it,
probably
did.
did.
But I think it came out in 2022, maybe.
Oh,
No,
really?
it would have came out in 2023, but near the first half, I think.
Huh.
So you're saying 2 remake, but you also haven't played original 1, 2, 3, or 4.
No,
Okay.
not all the way through.
You've played all of them, I'm pretty sure, right? Okay.
Original remake, dude.
Original remake's your favorite?
Yeah.
Well,
So-
they haven't even remade it fully in the new stuff, have they?
No, it's
No, but
They're
I mean,
gonna do it.
old-
That's also got leaked
old
too.
style. So, which they have multiple remakes of one. So they have one, then they have the GameCube,
the GameCube
remake,
one that came out.
then
in,
they
like,
have the
2000
HD
something.
one on PC and stuff.
So
on
how do you
consoles.
think you're gonna feel about the remake of Zero and Veronica and that one?
I
'Cause
feel like
it's
with-
coming.
They're remaking those?
Yeah,
Yeah, I think.
dude, have you missed that?
I don't
There was a
keep up with
huge
stuff like
data
that.
leak with all that
I don't
stuff.
keep up with stuff like that. I like to be surprised.
So there's the 9 remake, the 5 remake, and they're
You said
remaking
9 remake?
Or they're
no,
making
the
9.
9, and
Yeah.
then the 5 remake, and then 0. I think it said it was 0, Code Veronica, and 1.
I feel like I have heard about the 0 remake being
Yeah.
in the style of the 1 remake, not the 3D or the
Oh, I've
like
heard
the
it's
third
there.
person.
I've heard it's all gonna be in current graphics,
Really?
like that kind of stuff. Yeah,
Interesting.
because I mean those would be the only ones they haven't done besides like They started with 2.
Well, they haven't done
They
1
did
in the
3.
style of like third
Yeah,
person,
that-
but I don't foresee
think
them
they're
doing
doing-
that personally. But
I
so
think 1 stands alone as it is pretty well.
yeah,
I can't
Personally.
handle them
Classic.
fixed camera angles,
Classic.
man. I can't do it.
Even
I
in
will
the
say,
HD.
I know for sure the dog part would still scare me though, no matter how it was.
Yeah.
So what would be yours?
So you're saying 1
Remake.
remake is your favorite?
Yeah.
Uncontended?
It's just so iconic, dude. Like,
Huh.
I think that 2 remake just blew my mind.
Yeah,
Because I got
before-
to see how the original looked, and then I played that, and I was like, holy crap.
Yeah, so I haven't played the 4 remake, so that could be a possible contender. I'm not sure. I haven't played all the way through it yet, though. I played maybe like an hour of it, so not enough. Originally, my answer was always 4. Any follow-up I had was originally 2, the original 2. Which, I mean, I kind of classify the GameCube releases as basically the same game. But just the original format of Resident Evil 2. And then the 2 remake came out, and I played through that.
yeah.
I don't know if I like the 2 remake better or not. I love the 2 remake so much
So
that
good.
I think it may beat out the original 2 for me. I just have nostalgia for the original Resident Evil 2,
Yeah.
but I do think I like the 2 remake better. It's just hard for me to say that, but
2
so I think 4 alone is still my favorite. Like, it's just the most replayable one to me.
Yeah.
I think it's the most iconic. I'm not gonna say iconic, but it's just such a staple. Like, I feel like it's the Final Fantasy 7 of the
Resident Evils.
of the Resident Evils. Yeah,
The
but
ol- the only issue I had with 2 remake was they really did mess up the A and B scenarios. You remember in the original how if you did Leon A and Claire B, stuff you did in Leon A, like puzzles and stuff that were completed, were already completed for you.
In Kirby.
But it wasn't that way with RE2 Remake.
Yeah.
You had to do the same puzzles over again. I'm like, I mean, there still was slightly different sections of the game, but like it just ruined the
I didn't notice
continuity, in my opinion.
Well, yeah, I think the originals had like a Leon A and B and Claire A and B, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, so then vice versa. Like if you did Leon B, stuff in Claire A that you did would be completed.
Yeah.
It's how they milked content out of the same 6-hour game.
Hey, it was smart though, dude.
But it's better. Yeah, I like that though.
I don't know why they wouldn't have done that.
I don't know why.
I assume it's just Leon and Claire, but then they're like they're going through it at the same time. So
oh yeah, it was both in real time. They were both
they're both in real time. So
so yeah, that makes sense though, Ryan.
No, because the puzzles were the same. You had to do the same puzzles.
Oh, okay. I never played the Claire one. I only played the Leon
you had
one.
to do the same puzzles. Again, different. There was a different.
Yeah, so
boss
it's basically
fight,
if Claire did what Leon did.
Yeah, if Claire had come through there, it would have been open.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is weird.
So that's the only issue I have with that one.
Yeah, I do feel like it was a little weak on like length of content, probably because stuff like that. But I mean, dude, just the experience of the game alone, I loved.
No, I get it.
I think it has a lot of replayability too. Like it's on my list to kind of replay. But I think 4 is still like kind of undefeated for me. But 2 Remake is definitely a contender now, and 2, which is funny because 2 was my original like runner up, the original 2, because I love the original 2. But I think that 2 Remake just kind of
made it that much better.
Yeah, made it that much better.
No, I get it.
I'm so happy that they remade 2.
I feel like again I have a bias towards Remake 1 just because I grew up watching my dad play it and then I started playing it. It's just one of those
Nostalgia.
games.
I don't have a huge dog in this fight because I'm not a big.
Yeah, well, you haven't even played the first 4. That's crazy.
Well,
You gotta go back and play at least Resident Evil 4
I'd
before
probably
playing the
play
remake.
the original. Well, wait.
Because there's an HD of 4. You can
Wait a
get
second.
on.
Wait a second though. Can you move while you're aiming, or is it the
No.
same?
No.
So I probably wouldn't want to put myself through.
Dude, it's not that bad. Man.
It's bad for me, man.
not that
I go to aim and I'm like, whoa, I can't.
Well,
and
what do
I'll
you mean
forget
move while you're
every
aiming? You
time.
can't move while you're aiming in the 4 remake.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, you can. It's completely open. It's like current day AAA game.
Yeah, you can.
That was one of the biggest complaints of those games is you couldn't move while you were aiming. 4 and 5 and.
I think I'm like overthinking it. Like I gotta actually like
Yeah, put your hand in
see it.
control.
But yeah, it has the tank controls though.
Yeah.
Every version of it other than the remake. What is the better party game? Mario Party or Mario Kart?
I'll let you guys go first.
I'll let you go first, Tristan.
I'll go first. I'll go
Mario
first.
Kart. No, I'll go first. Mario Kart.
Okay.
Because I think Mario Kart, I like competitiveness. Like, I hate playing a game that feels like it's super RNG based because it's almost like, what's the point? You know, my input is not really contributing that much. And I feel like Mario Party has a lot more of that. I do enjoy Mario Party a lot. But Mario Kart does get stale, though. Like, if I had to choose something to, like, play for, like, 2 hours, I would probably go Mario Party over Mario Kart. Mario Kart for 2 hours sounds a little miserable. But, on surface, yeah, Mario Kart. I think I enjoy Mario Kart more just because it's a lot more competitive.
This might be unanimous, but I agree. Mario Kart. For all the reasons that Tristan said, just the fact that I don't think that Mario Party is as RNG based as you're saying. I do think there is definitely a level of strategy, but I do notice myself getting bored in between turns in Mario Party.
I mean, the roll of the dice can dictate the entirety, outcome of your game, and that's every single turn. So
And it's random,
it's a lot more
unless
RNG.
you-
Like, I feel like Mario Kart has people. I've never gotten bothered by the items, especially how it's optimized now in Mario Kart games. Like, I think the blue shell makes sense. And a lot of the items, I mean, you can hold the item behind your back, to block it and all that. There's a lot strategically you can do to combat the slight RNG of items. Plus, it's not really RNG. I mean, if you're in first, you're not going to get something overpowered compared to if you're in the back. So there are situations where somebody can just take a quick lead, but in the most part, if you're good enough, you can typically avoid that. It's usually your own mistakes that makes you fall back. Mario Party is 100%, especially with the bonus stars at the end. They just give bonus stars for random stuff almost.
I think learning the mini games is good too.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. You can win every
really
mini
the
game,
only
but
thing.
just have the worst luck as far as what you
On a
roll.
bunch of red spaces. They get a
Exactly,
bonus
yeah.
star. I think that makes it fun though.
Yeah, it does. I'm not saying it's not
Because
fun.
I've had times where I'm I'm gonna win, and then my sister gets 2 bonus stars for some random crap
Yeah.
and beats me, and I'm like,
And I think it makes it more fun too whenever because if say like you have a bunch of friends over that aren't like gamers,
Yeah.
and you're just like really good at like Mario Kart, and everybody else is just like super casual, then you're just gonna like naturally just stump them every time. Mario Party is at least more like you can hand somebody a controller that's never really played a game, and they still have a chance of like having fun with it. Because like if you're just losing for 2 hours, like Smash, yeah, like Smash is a fun
I
like
suck at that game.
party game. Whenever it's a party game of like all Smash players.
Oh,
If you don't play Smash, then like
I'm
it's
so
probably
bad.
not that fun. Like we have a friend James who doesn't play Smash really that much at all, but he'll play it when we're playing, but he doesn't like playing it because we're all just like so much naturally better than him that it's just not fun for him because there's such a learning curve. So I do think Mario Party is the best in terms of like super casual. Like I would choose Mario Party over Mario Kart if it's like super casual people, but for like people that do kind of play games, I think I do like Mario Kart better because it's just more, it feels more competitive rather than RNG.
Yeah. So you were leaning more towards Mario Party, Madison?
I grew up playing Double Dash, which I loved and still love. But Mario Party was such an integral part of my childhood. Mario Party 4 is the one I started with on the GameCube. And at least once a week we were playing 50 turn games.
Holy smokes.
See, I didn't have siblings growing up. Maybe that affects it. So
Well,
I never
it
had
was just me,
siblings to
Meg,
play
and my
Mario
mom,
Party
but
with.
also we were hanging out with a bunch of people every weekend, like just friends from church and stuff, having them over at the house, so we could have a full 4-player game all the time. Dad never played games.
Yeah, see, I never had a lot of opportunity, I think, growing up before that, which may be because like Mario Kart at least had online, you know, and at least had a lot more single
I also
player.
suck at games, so Mario Kart is not. I'm not great at Mario Kart. I'm terrible at Smash. I played a little when we went to Carolina, and I was just like, where am I even at? Like, that's how I play Smash. I don't know where I'm at,
That's
and
the
I fall off
classic
the map
Smash
and kill myself
experience.
on accident. But I mean, I remember distinct mini games from each title. Like that's how impactful those. I remember the maps. On 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I loved on the Wii because it introduced there was a Koopa Tycoon map where you just had to get. It was different because you had to get hotels and build up. It's kind of like Monopoly.
Sounds like
almost.
Monopoly.
And
I'm interested. I want to play the new Mario Party,
I got it.
the
I just got
Jamboree
it.
or something
Yeah,
like
I
that.
just got it the other day.
Really?
We should hang out and play it.
All right.
Okay. Okay.
Because I feel like that's a big
It's not
problem with
4K60.
the first two Mario.
Shut up.
The first two Mario parties or the Switch ones.
I didn't like Super Mario Party. I heard Superstars was okay, but it was
Super
just,
Mario Party I didn't like solely
like
for
it
the
either.
like Joy-Con stuff.
But the Superstars was maps from 3, if I remember correctly, that they remade.
Yes,
right?
no, from I think either 1, 2, and 3. Yeah,
And those
yeah.
are the only 3 I didn't
But
have
it still
played.
feels very like rehashed though. Like I feel like they
Um,
kind of quit like experimenting with new. I mean, classic Nintendo thing for the Switch. They quit experimenting with like new ideas.
Yeah.
I would like to see them like experiment with like more content and new ideas because I feel like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is the optimal way to
Oh, yeah,
play Mario
absolutely.
Kart in
'Cause, like,
every
what
regard.
you
You
were
have the
saying
most
about-
characters, the most maps, the most balancing, the most different game modes, options, everything. Same thing with Smash Ultimate. I think you may like another one better, but you can agree it's the most optimal one. I wouldn't say that there's any of the Switch ones are like the most optimal way to play Mario Party in my opinion. I think there's a lot more content in some of the GameCube ones even. I
Do
think
Do
it's
you
the
think
best.
they'll make a new
Deluxe.
Mario Kart for the next Switch? Or do you think they're gonna keep it?
They've
No,
gotta make a new one.
I think they'll eventually make a new one. Yeah.
Because Jamboree just came out.
Smash, I don't know. I'm really curious as to how they're going to move forward with Smash.
Eventually, I think they'll have to make a new Smash, but
Eventually,
I don't
yeah.
think they will at launch.
It's just crazy to me though, because we keep rehashing the same games, and nothing against them, but it's crazy how that we keep the same IP goings for. I get it for things like Zelda, Metroid, Mario, all that, but the Mario Party games, which that kind of makes sense, but like the Smash games.
We just need a Mario Kart 8 Deluxe of Mario Party, and then that's it. We don't need 3 Mario Party games
Well,
on
I mean,
Switch, in my
that's the
opinion.
thing. I have a Switch for 2 franchises. That was enough to get me to spend. I think it was $350 for the Zelda one. It was enough to get me to spend $350 on a Switch.
Yeah.
Was 2 franchises. That's all it took. And I don't know that I'd do the same for a PlayStation 5 if it was just 2 franchises on there that I liked.
So,
me-
Mario Kart, Mario Kart, Mario Party.
I was expected to be unanimous, but
No, I'm Mario Party.
I feel
for
like
sure.
he was going to go with Mario Party. I didn't know what you were going to go
Because
with.
and honestly, I wish they bring back the 50 turn games.
Oh,
Those because I'm telling you, dude. As a kid, it was such a joy. That's one of my best memories I have with my family is being like, y'all want to play Mario Party for 4 hours? Like, and especially in that long a game, you can be winning.
I think it makes it less RNG the longer it is.
Yeah, you could be winning at turn 40, and then 10 turns later, you're just absolutely screwed.
Yeah.
true.
Losing every, and that made it more fun to know it doesn't matter at any point how good you're doing. Someone could just take it all away from you, and
I don't think I've ever
minute.
chosen above the minimum amount of turns.
well, they haven't had 50 turn games since 8, I think. I never played 9 or 10.
Yeah,
So
I'm
I
not
don't
sure.
know.
Which 10 was kind of like
I think
notoriously bad.
the ones I remember the most are 4, 7, and 8. Because I think was 7 the one that introduced the microphone for the GameCube. You remember that little microphone thing with the blue tip
I'm
where
not
you had
sure.
to blow into it? I played that one a lot. Let's see, Mario.
I hated the one where they put everybody in the same vehicle.
10 or
That was-
9. It was either 9 or
that
10.
was 10 or 9. I didn't like
That one.
I never
I
played
didn't play
9.
it because I didn't like the way it
I think
looked.
10 is like that. I don't know if 9's like that, but I know 10's like that.
It definitely removed like
Mario
Lava
Party
Party.
7 was the one
7,
with the,
okay. Yeah, I think that pretty much
you wanna
wraps it up.
wrap it up? Yeah.
Yeah.
we'll let you do it, Madison.
Yeah, you close it off.
Yeah, you close it off. Here.
Thanks for watching. Here's the link to the store, right here. You can click on that.
You're probably pointing out of frame right
I'm
now.
not. I'm looking. It's
Oh,
right
okay,
here.
okay,
I'll go a little
okay.
over. Here's the link to the store. And you can find me here. I'm gonna self-advert and make
Bro.
Tristan put a link to my Twitch channel.
That's fine. That's fine. I'll
right
do that.
here.
I'll do that.
And then you can find the TikTok on my shirt, like our social media accounts. You can find a link to those on my shirt.
All of them? All like 5 of them?
You can just put like a hyperlink and it'll have a, well, you know.
Okay. Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's on my
yeah,
shirt.
yeah, sure.
I'm wearing an 8-Bit Legacy shirt right now.
Oh,
yeah, photoshopped 8-bit
Yep.
legacy
Mhm.
shirt.
That's
All right.
what it is.
Thanks
But yeah,
for watching,
appreciate it, guys. Thanks for watching.
Bye.
Definitely tune in on the next one. We'll probably do it a month from now, I would say.
Yeah.
It'll be a few
January.
weeks after Game Awards. Probably it'll already be 2025. Yeah, and on that note, tune in next time.